Welcome to the GYD afternoon session of this year's Global Youth Day. You are joining us in studio live, Hope Channel. We're in Lusaka and we're quite excited. Remember, this is the very first ever hosting of the Global Youth Day on Hope Channel Zambia from the inception, and we're quite excited to be here. My name is Trevor Mudenda Habugali, and I'll be with you for the rest of the afternoon. I hope we're going to have fun today. Great. So joining me in studio at this point are wonderful ladies, and I'm quite excited to have them. Ladies, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Great. My co-host this afternoon is really just going to introduce herself as we are getting into the midst of today's implementation of the Global Youth Day. Quite exciting. We can do quick introductions as we're starting.
Briefly, good afternoon to our viewers all across the globe. Of course, it is the Global Youth Day. We as Adventists are celebrating today, and I must say we are very excited as we are extending the love and, of course, piling up on the different themes that have come across on the past years. And, of course, even before we go any further, be assured that you can be able to catch up with this stream on our various social media platforms. And, of course, just to mention, Barifew on Hope Channel Zambia, Woodlands Conference, East Zambia Field, Southern Zambia Conference, West Zambia Conference, Lusaka Conference, Northern Zambia Union Conference, Youth Ministries, and also Southern Zambia Union Zambia Youth Ministries. And obviously not to forget on the YouTube channels, we are going to be live on those platforms, and just making sure that the interactions goes on even as we get to celebrate today's Global Youth Day as Adventists. Like we always know, Adventist youth are full of activities, and of course we can say from the various conferences a whole lot of things have been done. And of course, let me not say much, my name is Faith Malabwana, be the co-host for this particular segment.
All right, thank you so much, Faith. And in starting, we'll quickly open in prayer as we just kickstart our program for today. And Effie is going to give us an opening prayer.
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Effie, just like Trevor has said. So we shall open in prayer. Okay, shall we pray? Our Lord, we want to thank you for today. Father God, as we celebrate, we pray we have to thank you for being with us throughout the day, oh God. Father God, as we start our program, be with us, and be with us, oh God, and be with every youth out there who is having the way. This we pray in the Son Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. All right, so love is a verb. We are doing it the Jesus way as youths here in both Northern Zambia Union Conference and Southern Zambia Union Conference. So we've come together to do an exciting program. As I mentioned earlier on, this is the first ever presentation that we're doing ever during the Global Youth Day. And so I'm joined, as I mentioned earlier on, by the two ladies, and quickly we're going to have a brief interaction with the ladies. Ladies, Global Youth Day is with us, and this year we're dealing with love is a verb. And before we quickly just get into the dealing of love is a verb, we quickly go and have interaction with the ladies. Ladies, we have love is a verb this year, and now Effie, where were you this morning? It would be nice to just get an interaction of where Effie was this morning, and I would also love to hear where you were, Faith, this morning. I'm actually quite excited because personally, as Midlands East Zambia Conference, the conference I belong to, we did quite a number of activities this morning. I was not here, and so we were up and about trying to evangelize, trying to do quite a number of activities which are going to be highlighted later on. So Faith, quick one. Where were you this morning? We would love to hear where you were this morning, and maybe how are you doing your love is a verb today?
Okay, so basically I decided to, I wasn't present in church, but I did my love is a verb elsewhere. And I'm glad to announce that I actually did extend some love to people and just did a very, I wouldn't say, maybe in my way, I would say a short evangelism.
Oh, yeah?
And you know, I did that on a build-up of our last year's theme. Yesterday we were working on, last year we were working on loving the forgotten.
Oh,
and
yes.
this time we were looking at love is a verb. And I feel like all these, like, consecutively we've had the love in between of everything, and I feel like it is high time that we got to understand and just stretch and express love in the more meaningful and very important way. And I feel in as much as we always do this, you know, the expression of love, I want to believe that we shouldn't just wear the shirt and say love is a verb and get excited about it.
Oh, yeah?
I know to say the excitement behind the shirt is what gives everyone to, you know, I want a shirt for GYD, I want to wear a shirt. But the thing is, are you practicing the message that is behind love is a verb?
Oh, yes.
Last year you were talking about loving the forgotten. Have you loved them? Have you continued to love them even as you're talking about love is a verb? So basically today I spent my day just sharing the love with my friends, I would say, and of course standing representing the Northern Zambia Union Conference as Secretary for Communications. I must say that even in our conference we have done quite a lot of activities there, and of course projects that are going on for the younger ones and for the church at large, and of course acknowledging the fact that even as a union it hasn't been an exclusion of where we have looked, you know, just the well-being of the elderly people in the community, and of course empowering that a lot of projects that are going in and all that. So I must say the extension of this love is a verb is amazing, and I'm hoping that even as the program is going on, people will just take time to go through the various platforms that we have as Adventists in different you know, conferences, and just view on what the other conferences were up to this year.
As a matter of fact, as the program goes on, we will take quite some time to just highlight and go into quite a number of activities and get reports from the ground and see how many activities and what exactly our youth in the various conferences were doing today. And just to make mention, Faith has talked of quite a number of activities and the themes that we've had throughout the years. Faith, I'm sure you remember the time that we were the same one at some point. We said adopt later on. After some point, we said reaching out. After some point, we said love is a verb now. So really going out and doing it the Jesus way this time around is quite exciting personally for me. And like you've mentioned, being under Northern Zambia Union Conference and also Southern Zambia Union Conference, a lot of activities have been done, and we are just here to quickly highlight a number of those activities. So when we'll be doing the report, stay tuned. It'll be nice to hear where you're watching us from. So take some time and just quickly comment on that social media platform. Let us know where you're watching us from. If you're watching us from Lundazi, Mwzc, it'll be nice to just hear to say, I'm watching live from this particular place. So feel free and add comments and contributions. We want to hear from you. Later on, we hope to get a few comments from our social media platforms so that we just quickly interact with you, our viewers out there. So Faith, all these themes that we've had all along, which one was the first for you? You remember the time that we said be the same one. Later on we said, you know, adopt, I care. Which one was the very first one for you?
I think I've participated in quite, how many could have? Adopt, be the same one, reaching out, loving the forgotten, and now love is a verb. I think I must say quite 5+.
5+, yeah?
5+, yes. I wouldn't say from the time it started, because I literally had to join the Adventist movement in the later stages of my life. But in as much as that has been, I think I have been faithful in following, and I think I have, like, you know, or the t-shirts, if I may say, except for one that hasn't come, one needs to be punished. But all I would say is the themes have been really amazing. And one thing that I have noted, I don't know if everybody has, and obviously have got questions about it, there's one thing that doesn't change on our t-shirts.
Yes.
Be the same one and I will go.
It's always
like,
there.
Be the same one is always there and I will go always be there. But then we have these change of them. So have you ever wanted to ask yourself, why is it always saying be the same one?
Yes. So when we started, I think one of the very first times that we publicized the Global Youth Day, I don't know if it's as far back as 2018, when the Be the Same One theme was so much publicized. And I would love Effie to just quickly, you know, come in and just, you know, give me her view on this one. When the Be the Same One theme was so promoted, I was actually having a discussion with a friend of mine who was actually saying, be the same one actually is always there and has always been there. And it's our sub-theme or main theme for almost all these. Then we always just change the sub-theme under there on a number of things. So Effie, quickly, before I maybe also just add in my input, which one was the very first one for you? Which sub-theme was the very first one, you know, for you?
Okay, I've participated in all of them.
Okay.
From the start until now that we are doing Love is a Verb. But my favorite was the theme for last year, Loving the Forgotten. Okay, it had a lot of meaning to say we are loving the forgotten. Who are the forgotten? There are a lot of people who are neglected outside. Okay, we would be seated in our homes thinking we are very comfortable and all that, and things are okay.
Yeah.
But people out there are suffering. Yeah. We've forgotten them. We have orphans, we have prisoners. So last year it was like the theme was okay. It was awesome, and I think a lot of youths in Zambia participated in that activity. They really loved the forgotten. But now we're doing Love is a Verb, which is a very good thing. Like we're making it into action.
Yes.
Not just saying I love you. What have you done to make yes. Because people just say it, I love you, but what have you done? You would tell an orphan to say I love these people, but what have you done to show that you love them? So this year we are acting. We are making action to the love. That's like Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is a very good example. He gave us the first love.
Yes.
That's
great. Thank you so much, Effie. And really, I'll still go back to Faith. Faith, we have Love is a Verb this year. I know it's there, and it's my personal favorite so far. But then maybe just try and backdate. Which one is your favorite among, excluding Love is a Verb?
You remember we had even I Care.
We had I Care also, yes. So excluding Love is a Verb. Faith, which one has been your favorite throughout these years?
To be bluntly honest, I think the favorite one for me was last year. I feel like even when you look back to all the themes, last year's theme came with its own unexplained impact on different people, even I as a person. Maybe because I personalized the theme, loving the forgotten. And I feel like that is a theme that spoke to individuals even at a community and country level. You are loving the forgotten in the sense that it got me back. I was actually, in as much as I was in the studio that year, I was actually I was right there. And
really?
I had quite a different, I had people with different views and different opinions. It took me back to when God says, I was in prison and you never remembered me. I was sick and you never visited me. You know that. And I feel like last year, people went overboard. Conferences went to the extreme. You will see people that went out in the fields to feed people that were hungry. We saw hospital visitations and people were being, cared for. We saw a whole lot of things were happening. And I feel like it was an action theme, if I may put it like that. People were on their feet and they were on their toes to the point where there was love expressed, not just by word of mouth. And I feel that is something that has to continue, even as we are saying love is a verb, it is a doing word. Let's continue doing what we already started. It's not just about telling somebody that I love you. Sometimes you will go to a person and preach with them, they are hungry. You will teach them the word of God, but have you fed them? In as much as I say, man will not live on bread alone, but let's not also shine away from the fact that if a person is hungry, sometimes even their level of concentration is not there. Feed them and let them understand to say, okay, you know what hunger can do to you.
Very true. Very true.
Someone is sick, you have not cared to take them to the hospital, and then you tell them that I love you. How have you shown that love to them? So last year for me was the best because we went far and beyond, and we just expressed love in a whole different dimension. And I'm hoping that even the feedback for this year is going to be nothing but simply amazing, because now we are going to act on what we already said. So it was last year for me.
I really can imagine, and I think personally, really, I would love to agree with the ladies. Last year's theme was really one that called us to action as youth. Even previously, obviously, we cared, we adopted, but last year's theme really, pushed us. Personally, from my local church, University Church, we went a step further. There's always this perception of you coming to church and we say, hi brother, hi sister, and then it ends there. I don't know where you stay, I don't know what you're going through. So, we went out and went to the people we felt were forgotten in church, and we tried to reach out on how best we could do it. So it was really, fulfilling for me. Like this, I felt really nice because I got to reach out to people and that I thought were forgotten. Quite an exciting period. But remember, this year we're doing it the Jesus way. Love is a verb. someone is hungry, let's feed them the Jesus way, action-oriented. And we keep emphasizing that join the action trend. So feel free to just quickly comment and tell us on a few activities that you're doing in your conference, wherever you're texting us from, wherever you're watching us from, Northern Zambia field, West Zambia field, Northern Zambia, it's a conference now actually. Yes, yeah, Southern Zambia conference, and a lot of other conferences. So feel free just to text us and let us know what activities you're doing where you are. Ladies, as we quickly go to a dwindle down of what we are looking at, love is a verb this year. So we've looked at the theme previously, the ones that we have looked at and our favorite themes and what we did. This year's theme, love is a verb. So in the morning, our friends labored to actually just try and break it down. But I know some people might not have watched the morning session. I would love to get it from a personal level. Love is a verb, it's a doing word. But what is it really on a personal level? Let me start with Faith this time around. Faith, you're on the spot. And then if you can actually respond after. Okay. Love is a verb, Faith.
Well, love is a verb. Love is a doing word. That's what a verb, that's what they're saying, right? Yes. A verb is a doing word. So as I continue, not forgetting, please don't forget to drop your comments and your contributions on our social media platforms. Of course, we are live on Facebook and YouTube, and we are doing the GYD afternoon session, and we are doing it in style. Getting to answer the question, love is a verb. At my personal level, I feel let's be the doers and not only the hearers.
Yeah.
You know, we say, I love you. What are you doing to show that love? You are coming to church, not only church, because I believe Christianity is personal. Yes. That is for me. I don't know about you.
Very factual.
Christianity is personal. I will not go to heaven because my entire Chainama church is served. I will go to heaven because I myself, I was accepting the Lord Jesus Christ as my Lord and personal Savior. So my relationship with God is personal and not with another person. Church is for fellowship, but what I do when I am by myself is what determines my judgment. If we were to be judged on a group setup, I think a lot of us were going to be saved. Taking me to answer your question, for me, I interpret love is a verb, probably even many people have interpreted in the same way. It is high time that we learn to do what we say. Don't just say and move on because you want to be heard. Don't just say because you want somebody to know that, okay, she said. What are you doing? You know, so if you are saying love is a verb, as you are putting it now, what have you done for you at a personal level to extend the love that you are talking about? Have you been a source of joy to somebody? I always say the world is a place of depressed people. So far, everyone is depressed. How are you extending your personal love to make sure that you bring a smile to society? Because just by you making somebody smile is a gesture of love. Yeah. Just by you extending a greeting, you don't know where that person is coming from. Yeah. So for you to be an element, or rather a victim of, or a reason why somebody should cry, should give you more reason to go back and rethink and say, okay, is love really a verb for me?
Yeah.
Love is not just about telling somebody to say I love you, or it's not about you buying them a car. Yep. It's the little things in life that count. Even just by me coming and hugging you, and just from a warm heart, I have shown love. I don't know where you're coming from. I don't know what you might have been going through the whole day. But for me to just give you a warm hug of embrace and say, God loves you and it's going to be well with you. I might not give you the car that you need, but just by me being positive and welcoming will give you the hope to see what the future holds tomorrow. So I feel, for me, it's high time we learned to be real. Don't just say because I want to be heard. Don't just do because I want my neighbor to know that, no, I gave my sister salt yesterday. I don't just want to say, okay, I love you because afuna nimvele kuti nimukonda. No, it is what you do from your heart to extend, not to be heard by people. So for me, I feel, let's be real. Yeah. Let's be real. Even as you are talking about love, be real. Don't be a hypocrite. Don't say I love you, but yet all you do is making your friends depressed by talking about them, because those are the common things now, you know. And
especially in the youth setup.
Especially the youth setup. You don't want to see your friends' progress all you want to do is break them to every opportunity that you get. Is that love? And yet you are saying, be the same one. Connecting all the three. I will go, be the same one. Love is a verb. I will go. Where are you going? What are you going to do there?
Be the same one.
I will go to the world and be the same one. What same one are you going to preach wherever you are going is about love. So these three, when you put them together, are you out there to change a human being? Or are you out there to destroy somebody? So basically for me is, let's do, because we want do to get a reward from God and not to be rewarded by man. Because man will not reward you if that's what you're waiting for. It is there are very slim chances that a human being will come and appreciate you, but God will reward you. And when God rewards you, even the people who thought you'll never be rewarded will marvel and say, even this one. You know what I mean? So let's be real. Let's not show love because you want your neighbor to know that I showed love.
Yeah.
Sometimes give and let nobody know that you gave.
Yeah.
It's not, there's no need, you know? Like, it's your relationship with your God. You, your God, nobody else. Unless if you're saying that your Christianity life is a me, my neighbor, and my God. You know? So it's just like that. I can go on and on and on and on, but please let me go.
On a lighter note, talking of rewards, so I'm having this conversation with two police officers today, and I'm saying thank you so much for the wonderful service. You guys do very well. In fact, I think I'll visit one of these fine days and just say thank you. And then one of them, you know, because we're not used to just receiving a reward of thank you from nowhere. She goes like, "You're coming where?" I'm like, "I'll be coming to the police station just to say hi." To come and do what? Police? Why?
You know.
I'm like, no, I just want to come and say hi. Should I always come to the police station when there's an issue? No, let me just come and feel free to just say hi. How are you? Great job. I'll see you later.
You're good, because I have phobia of police. So I
Okay, cool. So, but then it starts from there. You know, love is a verb. So, Effie, I'm coming back to you. Love is a verb. On a personal level, we start with the police officers. Love is a verb.
I don't know.
I think we should start from there.
That's so brutal, you know? But when you just go there, just say hi, what can they do to you?
No, there's nothing. They're very nice people, actually. It's a service. So, love is a verb.
Okay, Faith has said a lot. Okay, so we as youths, love is a verb. On a personal level, I've taken it into action. Okay, we were loving the forgotten. Now let us act. Let's go back to those people. It's not a one-day thing. Today you just buy a soap for this person. What about tomorrow? What about next week? Okay, so now since we are doing love is a verb, let's get into action. Okay, so like what others are doing, I've seen conferences building houses, others are starting it, others are finishing it, others are starting the projects they started last year, which is a very good thing. Now they understand what love is. What is a verb? Like we've learned this this term way back in school. What's a verb? A verb is a doing word. Yes. So what are we doing? So let's act upon it. Just a simple term. Love is a verb. So to me, let's just act. Let's just act upon it. Let's not just say I love you and then it ends there. Yeah, I love you, Faith. What does Faith want? Maybe she wants a shoe and I'm capable of giving her, but I've just said I love you and I've gone. What have I helped? Nothing. So let me do the needful by serving her with a shoe. Yeah. I've acted.
Yeah. And I love the point that she has raised. You know, God forgive me, I probably have been a victim of this. You know, there are many times where you see somebody is in a certain way. Maybe it's their jacket. So instead of you probably getting them what you feel would look nice, but you are laughing at them. You know, and then you're wondering to say, okay, why don't you give? You have a lot of wigs. Why don't you get one?
We're going to create a WhatsApp group, then you start texting. Why you want to throw it in there?
And it's in these little things that we find ourselves being victims of unwanted behaviors. And for me, I'm meant to believe let's not even blame to say the outside world. Yes. Much of these things actually are in the church. Yes. You talk about gossiping, it's in the church. Talk about whatever it is that you may think about that is out there. It is there in the church.
And then we are quick to helping people who are out there, but we are forgetting we've got members in our church who need our help.
Oh, yeah?
You know?
We've got old people who need our help in terms of medication. Okay? What are we doing? We just go there, we sing hymns, What song do we like to sing when we go to visit these people?
I don't know, but the song in my heart is "There's Love at Home."
Yes, love at home. We sing to them, and then we just go. What have we done? We're just going there to preach and all that. But what have we done to help them? What do they need? Do we even ask what are the needs of those people? And then, since we're doing love is a verb, let's act upon that. Let's just not preach. Like Faith said, that we cannot just live by bread alone, right? We just go there, we just tell them, okay, God loves you. So you even choose that way. But Trevor,
yes.
But what have you taken there? Those people need our help, not just the word of God. Yes, they need comfort through the word of God, but let us act upon it. Let's just emphasize on doing it, and acting upon it.
We keep emphasizing doing things the Jesus way. You know, you remember Jesus is highlighted so much. You have him in Matthew chapter 14, chapter 15, doing it his way. You know, he's feeding people, he's healing them, going to the people and reaching them on their various points of need. Your neighbor is in need of a shoe, you offer a prayer. Children of God, let's be. Yeah, you know, offer the prayer, but also go a step further. Go a step further and just reach out and, you know, their point of need. Your neighbor is in need of food. You know, reach out, do it the Jesus way. Let's be action-oriented. And this is a theme that we're going with this year as youths. And we're saying this is not a youth program. Hello? It's a youth-driven what? Program. And this is what we've been emphasizing with a few friends of mine. You know, it's not only that we want the youth to do this particular program. We want everyone to come on board and help with the evangelism. A youth-led program is actually a very effective faith. As you're coming in to just, you know, as we're highlighting love is a verb, there are a lot of instances where Jesus is doing a lot of things in the Bible where, you know, he's going to the points of need. Can you remember any of those where, you know, he just goes and...
He feeds.
He fed them.
He fed, he healed the sick, he raised the people from dead, from, you know, who's that one? Lazarus, come. You know what I mean? So you will see him, every need that you will talk about now. It was there even in the time of Jesus. Are you talking about somebody who's depressed? Jesus was the best advisor. Is it somebody who wants, you know, to give up? He was there to give the best words of encouragement. Is it somebody who felt, you know, neglected? It is all there. People were hungry, he fed them. They're sick, he healed them. You know, even when you would say, okay, but you know, from that thought, how did it happen? He didn't have, somebody goes with how many? 5? You know,
fishes.
5 fishes. And
how many bread?
And how many bread? You know what I mean? So he fed even, and I feel like for me that is like the greatest or the biggest example that I would stand as of today. Obviously I will learn of another one, but as of today, sometimes don't look at what you have for you to help somebody. It is important just to think about yourself, but by faith, you know, if Christ can feed the 5,000 with what was provided, with how many loaves of bread? Was it 3?
That was 5 or 3.
5 and the fish. Yes, we know the maths, the fish and the bread. Overall, the mathematics there is what was provided was not going to be enough to feed the 5,000. But what did he do? They came to him and they said, these people are hungry. Why can't we take that also? Sometimes when you want to extend a hand of help to somebody, don't look at what you have now. Try and test God also. I know we have mainly directed the aspect of try God in our tithe and offering and see what he would do for you. But when you want to give from your heart to a person who's desperately in need, why can't you equally try and test God? Tell him to say, God, what I have is the only thing I have. And when I go, I do not know what I am going to do where I am going. But I will give because this person needs it more than I do. Why can't we also try in that aspect and see if God is not faithful? Honestly, we would say God is faithful. trust me, God is faithful. And so even as we are doing the vape and all of this, you know, there are times where you see someone is needed and you'll be with your friends. Yeah, I have had encounters like that. Somebody is hungry and you're like, okay, you know what I mean? You tell your friend, I don't know if you've encountered, and somebody will just answer you, guys, I'm not Jesus. You haven't had such a response before?
Strong words there. I'm not Jesus.
Since Jesus. You know what I mean? Meaning,
Yeah.
I don't have the same heart that Christ had for me to sacrifice this which I have and give to this person. But if you are saying this year you want to do it the Jesus way,
Yes.
why can't you try?
You have to make
You know,
it.
an extra amount to say, okay, the energy Jesus, but
Let me just
let
do
me
it.
just try, and tell him to say, okay, God, this is what I have. I will present this, and let me see if you will let me suffer because I have helped you on. I call him Bashema. When you don't have, I just got to say, Bashema, one thing, you know. And trust me, God is faithful like that. I, for one, I haven't done the biggest of things, but I can testify to say there are times where I have sacrificed what I have and given to somebody. I don't know what it is, but then just for people to hear, probably for somebody to be encouraged. I am not the richest. I don't have it all. But there are just times you see somebody's in need and you just say, okay, here, have it. And I can tell you to say there has never been a time when I've been stranded to the core where even when I go to somebody, they've never assisted me. And I feel like if you can give someone your last thing that you have, whether money, whether food, whatever it may be, it might not come directly as what you gave. But trust me, God will soften the heart of somebody the day you'll be in need and say, okay, guy, I don't have. And that person will be so soft to give you without understanding, okay, you know, why? Because you are also open to helping other people. So,
all right, we're saying Vashima. All right. Thank you so much, Faith. Thank you so much, Effie. As we are winding down in the first session and just trying to interact and get more views on saying love is a verb, it's a doing word, and going out there. Obviously, we'll get correspondence from our conferences in various sections and just getting an element, a feel of what has been going on today. Personally, I had a wonderful experience while I was in the afternoon, ladies, in the morning actually. It was a wonderful experience. And I hope our friends elsewhere also had a wonderful experience. At this point,
with us at some point.
Definitely I will. Definitely I will. I had hoped the whole crew at Hope Channel was just with us. It was quite a wonderful and uplifting experience. And I'm hoping that we are going to get exactly that from our many members that went out there just to quickly pick a few reports and just report back to us on quite a number of programs and events that our fellow youths have had on this particular day. It's not only the t-shirt, we're doing it the Jesus way, the action way, and love is indeed a verb. Ladies, as we wind down, before we just go for our first commercial, any quick remarks before we wind down? Let me start with Effie because Faith has got a lot of airtime. We will spend the whole night here. So just checking, I think we can start with Effie now, then we'll time Faith.
Okay, I'll just say to the youths out there, it's not about the t-shirt. We've bought these t-shirts, but what have we done to show love outside? Okay, let us not just be beautiful, we take pictures, post on Facebook that, hey, SDA, as youths, we're doing love is a verb. What have you done? So, youths out there, let's do something. Let's help the need. Let's act upon the love that we're showing to people. Yeah, let's just do it.
Oh, yeah. Faith, in 5 seconds.
I feel attacked. I don't know, but it's okay. I'm used to this kind of thing.
I cannot refuse. I'm attacking indirectly. Sure.
For me, my last word would be, you are a representative of Christ himself as a child of God. By virtue of you saying, I have died in sin and risen with Christ, is more reason that you should know that Christ lives in you. Do not limit what you can do with God because the Holy Spirit is in you. Remember, he said, I am going to my Father's house, but I leave you the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit has never departed. God did not go with the Holy Spirit. He left it with us. And so what he did, he said, you will do greater and mightier things. So even as you are doing it the Jesus way, trust me, what Christ did, you can do even greater and mighty. So don't limit yourself. Express the love and don't look at who is looking at you. Give and do what you can from the depth of your heart without getting appreciation from humans, because God is the best rewarder. Thank you.
Love is the name of the game today, and we're doing it the Jesus way. At this point, we quickly just take a quick commercial as we try and transition to other programming. I'm very anxious to see the reports that are coming from the different conferences, because there are quite a number of programs that have been done in today's programming for the Global Youth Day. Remember, we're live on Hope Channel Zambia, live here in Lusaka, and on all those social media platforms that Faith keeps on mentioning. There are quite a number. I don't think I can remember all of them, but trust me, if you're on any of them, we thank you so much for your viewership, and we want to hear from you. Feel free to just tell us to say, I am in Livingstone and I'm watching you live. Just come through, text us, and give us your contribution on what you are doing as a conference. If you send photos, even more exciting. We just want to get engagement from you. At this point, to take a quick commercial as we transition into the next phase.
Before the throne of God above, I have a strong and perfect plea, a great high priest whose name is love, whoever lives and pleads for me. My name is graven on his hands, my name is written on his heart. I know that one in heaven he stands, no tongue can be me then depart, no tongue can be me then depart. When Satan tempts me to despair and tells me of the guilt within, up when I look and see him there, who made an end to my sin. Because the sinless Savior died, my sinful soul is counted free. Forget the justice satisfied to look on him and pardon me, to look on him and pardon me. Behold him there is a Lamb, my perfect, spotless righteousness, the great unchangeable I am, the King of glory and of grace. One with himself I cannot die, my soul is purchased by his blood, my life is hid with Christ on high.
With Christ my Savior and my God.
One with himself I cannot die, my soul is purchased by his blood, my life is my Savior and my God. With Christ my Savior and my God. Umataligilo anyiga, leza wagalenga julu anyiga, munyiga mwagalizwide mutima, leza wagatagube mumuni, mtu yonse tuwene, yagalengwa winda mujia leza, masamu bayuni abanyama, itonde yanguzu yaleza. Hallelujah, 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 amen. Twagulumbaleza. Hallelujah, 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 amen. Twagulumbaleza.
Mumama ayebo mutata, ena toyandi uyonjila, mumuzi oyongwaga tubambila tata, imapenzi mwalo munyina. Mama ayebo mutata, ena toyandi uyonjila, mumuzi oyongwaga tubambila tata, imapenzi mwalo munyina.
Mumama ayebo mutata, ena toyandi uyonjila, mumuzi oyongwaga tubambila, imapenzi mwalo munyina. Mumama ayebo mutata, ena toyandi uyonjila, mumuzi oyongwaga tubambila, imapenzi mwalo munyina. Baba wetu, wasitu yetu,
Ufanelwe
kutunyeswa, sikutamagwe, Baba siyabonga,
Oh baba wetu,
wasitu yetu,
ufanelwe
kutunyeswa, sikutamagwe, Baba siyabonga,
Oh sikotama,
Sikotama, Baba siyabonga,
Oh sikotama,
Baba siyabonga,
Oh sikotama,
Baba
Siyabonga tiko wa matiko, sing.
Siyabonga.
is a verb, is the title of, this year's, Global Youth Day, as we are commemorating it this year as youths from all over the world. And this year, we're doing it in a different way, in a unique way, where we're being hosted by Hope Channel Zambia. And we're grateful for them to, just accord us this opportunity as youths to just try and interact with our friends and just, share ideas and concepts and really our memories that we're going to, record this particular year. I was talking to a few ladies earlier on. My name is Trevor Mudenda Havugali, and I'm still with you as your host today. We quickly transition into a section that I feel like is going to be one of my favorite. We just want to understand, a brief history, not a brief history, but a history of where we're coming from. So we're saying love is a verb today. Where are we coming from? A highlight. I think all I can remember is as far back as 2018. But then, does it go beyond that? And in studio with me to just, have an interaction is Brother Isaac Chikwembe. I hope I pronounced that correctly. But if he was Tonga, I would have said Chikwembe. You're welcome, bro, and good afternoon.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Great. We just want to have an understanding of where we're coming from. Even as we are talking of where we are now, and projections of where we're going to go, where we'll be next year and a few years to come. Where are we coming from? When did we start Global Youth Day? How far back can you remember Global Youth Day, especially on a Zambian scenario? Because the only thing I can remember is Be the Same on T-shirts in 2018. And it ends there. That's the best my recollection. How far do we go back?
Okay, Trevor, when we're talking of Global Youth Day, especially here in Zambia, we can date it as back as 2013. Yeah, and it wasn't that popular because by then, we had only a few entrepreneurs that would think of T-shirts, and today we can talk of Global Youth Day because people see the T-shirts and the themes. They are there, shown everywhere, every year. But the ultimate theme for Global Youth Day has always been Be the Same One. Yeah, I remember even this year there was a conference that took it personal that yesterday that posted on one of their social media platforms saying the T-shirts that they are using as official should have Be the Same One behind and not in another theme. Oh. So if we are talking about Global Youth Day, it goes as far as 2013. And I remember it should be on the 15th March, if I've not gotten it wrong. That should be the date when we had the first Global Youth Day.
2013 isn't great son. Yeah, grade something. I think that's why I can't remember that far, outside, grade something.
Yeah.
Something about that, and really, it's not so popular. And like you've mentioned, we have more entrepreneurs now that are coming on board and bring more T-shirts, and it's becoming so pronounced. As we're talking about the history of the Global Youth Day, I want us to just quickly have a conversation around the whole concept of the issue of T-shirts and how much we, promote them and go the way of T-shirts. And really the theme that we're looking at in that particular year. So you have instances where I care, but the focus is T-shirts. I am certain there are people that are still panicking even up to now, just trying to get T-shirts for today. But they're not participating in the Love is a Verb theme. As we're looking at the history, let's just try and converse around this area of the promotion of the T-shirts. 2013, 2014, did we have it or we skipped a year?
We vowed it every year, and we always have the Global Youth Day in the second week of March.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it comes a Sabbath before we begin our week of prayer. That's the youth annual week of prayer.
Yes.
So every year in March, second week of March, we have the youth week of prayer, and then the Sabbath that begins, that's when we have the Global Youth Day. And we've run this with different themes. Of course, the main theme has been Be the Same One. There was a time when we had Be the Same One. So 2013, 2014, 2015, somewhere there, it was still Be the Same One, Be the Same One. Yes. And then we had I Am a Same One.
I Am a Same One, yes.
Then when we changed from I Am a Same One, then we went to Food and Water. Okay. I remember there was a time when there was a water and food crisis in some countries, and we actually used Global Youth Day to actually distribute food. Oh. And we were encouraged to actually even just give a bottle of water to someone in that year when we had food and water. If you can remember very well, this year, this is when we had T-shirts that had the Zambian logo. Like we had the map of Zambia, and then we had the Global Youth Day logo just here, and then it was food and water. And then we went to adopt Then we did I Care, then we went to Loving the Reaching Out, then we went to Loving the Forgotten, and now we're talking about Love is a Verb. So when you look at all these themes, like the presenter was saying in the morning, they are connected to each other.
Yes.
And we are talking about things that actually matter at the time when we're actually discussing this Global Youth Day. Now, coming to your question with T-shirt, a T-shirt has been used as a campaign material.
Yeah.
Everywhere you're going to go, even when we're talking about, I think there was a time we started talking about global warming.
Yes.
In the secular world and also in the environment world. And people didn't know about it until we started doing things that would actually remind them about it. Yeah. So T-shirts have been used as a way of reminding people about what is happening, and just to make it like we're trying to paint out a picture there so that the world would actually know what we are doing. And this is how the issue of the T-shirt came in. Yeah. But it's unfortunate that most youths now, they concentrate on the T-shirt and to beautify themselves on that day.
Yeah.
I'm not saying beautifying yourself is bad. Where I'm one person who is so particular with looks. Yeah. So I'm not saying it's actually bad with that. But I think we need to take a shift. Instead of just us talking about just wearing T-shirts and letting people see that there's this day, let's do more of what this day is for. Because Global Youth Day is meant for the youth to actually do the acts, the works of kindness, do what Jesus was doing to bring people closer to the kingdom.
Oh, yeah. No, I think it can suffice to mention that, you know, we are always endeavoring to do it the Jesus way and doing quite a number of activities the way Jesus did it. And it's funny you say, can you remember, Trevor? You are talking of years like 2013, Mwzc boarding school, so I can't remember. Yeah, I can't really remember, but it's good to have people like you who are, you know, keeping track, and it's good to just have a glimpse of what and where we're coming from. And just appreciate the fact that these themes are usually tailored to how we are living as youths during a certain particular period of time. And that's one thing that I love, because I'm able to relate as a youth. During a certain particular time, you know, it's felt that care is needed in the world, and we say, I care. At a point, we say, adopt. Remember, we're adopting orphans, we're
adopting prisoners, as well as we did prisoners, and then we also did orphans.
Okay.
What's the other one? Strangers.
Strangers.
Yes.
And then the following year we did
that's what we did, I Care.
I Care.
Yes.
Yeah, and then we reached out to refugees.
We reached out to culture, colors, and communities.
When did we go to the refugees?
Refugees, it was adopt.
Adopt, okay.
Yes, that's when we were adopting.
This year, we're looking at students and educators.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm really anxious to see how our conferences have tried to incorporate this. It's very important for us to, you know, understand the theme and just, you know, go a little bit further and just do these particular activities. Uncle Isaac, as we, you know, go further, we've talked of T-shirts, we've talked of how wonderful people look during this particular day. In your personal capacity, being around for the period of time that you've been around, you look very young actually. I'm wondering, 2013, where, how? All right, so can you think of any particular instances that really impressed you? So you've been around for some time now. On a personal level, as being part of the youth ministry, I'm certain you're part of Southern Zambia Union Conference, and you've served on a number of portfolios. So from the period you can remember, which one was one of the most uplifting moments of your life when looking at Global Youth Day? One you can just say, that one, I felt like as youths we did very well.
Okay. The first one was adopt. Yeah, adopt. Actually, for that one, I was actually moved to even buy a T-shirt. I proudly bought a T-shirt reading adopt.
Okay.
Yeah. In my conference, we went to Levy University Hospital, this one here, and then we adopted I think that should be, was it labor ward or children ward? Okay. Yes. And we donated some items there. Now, why that was so moving to me is because of the things that we did there. Yeah. That was a time when we had a lot of cases where people in the hospitals, especially the women, could not actually afford to buy most of the things that their babies needed. we have a lot of people that that came to that hospital that come from rural areas, and then the things that we took for them were diapers, we took baby nappies, and then we took baby foods and everything that the baby needs for that period when they're just young. And just that act of kindness, the smiles that I saw on the faces of people that we gave those things to was like, wow, that was moving. And I was like, wow, I looked forward to the next one.
Yeah.
And I think the next one, that's when we're doing I Care. Yeah. Unfortunately, COVID did us bad, and most of the activities that were planned did not go as planned. But still, we also managed, even when there was COVID, we still managed to do certain programs. And then the next one was Reaching Out. Reaching Out also left an impact in my life. I was part of the group that went to meet. That year, I remember, we were mingling with the marginalized, the albinos.
Oh, yes.
I think in the environment, in the culture where I grew up from, I grew up in an environment where we were taught that albinos come about as a result of a case. And we were told, if you see an albino, what do you do? We were told when we were young that if you see an albino, you need to spit inside your shirt. Okay? And most of the people, even now, they still do that. They think when you see an albino, because you do not want to have a child who is an albino, you need to spit inside the shirt, and that's how you protect. But it's nothing that has to do with that. And guess what? I just discovered that we have a young lady in Zambia who's been running an organization that looks at the rights of albinos. She's not albino. And I had the chance to speak with that girl, and I had also a chance to just interact with the albinos and just to discuss with them the challenges that they face, the discrimination, how they are discriminated, and all those things. And it was just powerful with me, and just the interaction that we had at that time, where we just felt like they're also part of us, like they're just a special kind of people. You know, it left an impact in my life, and I'm like, even today, I have a lot of friends that are albinos. Like when we meet, I feel like they're just, you know, there's just a special connection that I feel when I meet with these people, and not the perception that I had initially, the one that I was pumped in by people that lived before me, saying, no, this is the case, and what and what and what. I think those are some of the experiences that I have with Global Youth Day. And then, of course, this year also, where love has grown cold.
It's a verb.
Yeah, love is a verb. I think love is a verb is one of the most significant themes that we've had, because we are living at a period when love in many people has grown cold, where we have heard from news, and we've read in the newspapers where people are just killing each other. Let's just talk about the recent happening of a student that was killed. If there was love, I don't think we're able to do bad things to us, because what I feel is, if you love someone, you'll be thinking, you put yourself in their shoe. Before you can actually do anything bad to them, you start thinking, what if this bad thing was to happen to me? And when you feel like, okay, I'm not going to feel nice, then it means you're not going to do it because you love that person. And when we talk about love being a verb, we're not just talking about the love that which we can just express and say, I love you, or what and what and what, but we're talking about the love that comes from deep down your heart, the love that moves you to do certain things for the people that you love.
All right, great. So keep those comments and contributions coming. We're receiving quite a number, which is really exciting. And we just want to read a few of those that I think we'll do it a little bit later on, to just read a few comments, contributions that you are sending through those social media platforms where we're streaming live. Remember, there are quite a number. I should be able to mention them a bit later on. I'm preview that we're live on Hope Channel Zambia Facebook page and the YouTube channel, the Southern Zambia Union Conference, the East Zambia Field, Lusaka Conference, Woodlands Conference, and a few others that we're going to mention a bit later on. We are live on these platforms, and if you're watching us from anywhere, quickly comment and send in your view as we are celebrating Love is a Verb this year. It's a doing word, and I'm interacting with Uncle Isaac in studio today, and we're just trying to get a preview of what is happening, or what has happened previously as we are handling the Global Youth Day. Uncle Isaac, as we are going around the sessions and doing quite a number of things, I want us to interact about something that is very pivotal, and just get reports from conferences and what exactly they are doing. And as we are picking what people are doing, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we go straight to Woodlands Conference and just get a preview of what Woodlands Conference has done in this year's Global Youth Day. As we're saying, love is a verb. Let's see what our friends have for us. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Ukutemwa mufichitwa ino FM tusendere nga ba youth ukutemwa mufichitwa so leken turange okutemwa konse ko twala kuli bale abantu akwati tetsi bakwanishe bantu ichitemu iko chirangwa fyonse mufo turechita. Love is a verb.
The 2023 Global Youth Days theme is entitled Love is a Verb. To me as an individual, love is a verb means putting into practice the term that is referred to as love. This time around, we want to see that we as youths actually under the Adventist Youth Department are showing love to our neighbors, are showing love to our community, and indeed are showing love to the church.
Love is a verb. Mwasilozi lilato kikezo. Jesus set an example for us because he spent most of his life helping out.
Love is a verb. Words are just words when they're not followed with action. People need to know love without words. Let's do the action.
Luyandondijiti, for me this means showing love to others through our deeds, just like Jesus, just like God did, giving us his only son as a way of showing love.
Love is not a thing. It's not something you own, nor is it something you scream. It's not a power of I owe yours. It's something that you show. Love is a verb.
Love is a verb to me is about being a practical Christian. It is about doing to others as I would want them to do unto me. It is about not being a passive person, but going out there and looking for opportunities to spread the love of God. Be part of the movement. Love is a verb. Be an action maker.
Luyando ndijiti na luyando mumijito njosonga ya mwaga wesu wa 2023 luyando mumijito jamba ko tikatugasha ibe nzuma mbonya mbudi leza mbaga tuhida kwina mukutuma emwana agwe simu ya galiko. Love is a verb.
Utando isenzo indaba ephathwayo. This year 2023 astande nini njengo Jesu watanda ilizwe lonke.
This year we're doing it the Jesus way. Love is a verb. We're going out to the poor, we're going out to our friends and just reaching out and doing it the Jesus way. Join the movement. Love is a verb.
Happy Global Youth Day. Crispin, happy Global Youth Day.
Happy Global Youth Day to you too, Sister Mwinga.
Thank you very much. Hello viewers, my name is Mwinga Banji.
And my name is Ngandu Crispin.
And today we are here to share with you the GYD report from the mighty, the very mighty Woodlands Conference. Okay, Crispin, happy Global Youth Day once again.
Happy Global Youth Day to you
This year
once
our
again.
theme is Love is a Verb. Tell us, Love is a verb. What can you tell us about this theme?
No, love is a verb. Love is a doing word.
Okay.
Now, what is love if it cannot be put into practice? What is love if it cannot be expressed?
Okay.
Then that is love in vain. The love that ends only in words, that is not love. But you want love that can be practiced. That is what we call love.
Okay, so putting love into practice.
Mhm.
Tell us, what are the youths of Woodlands Conference doing this year in demonstrating the love that they have for the community?
You know, we go back to to James chapter 1 verse 27.
Okay.
The Bible says, pure and undefiled religion is this.
Okay.
But to visit the fatherless, to visit the widows, to help the poor, to help the orphans. And now that is what actually the youths of our Woodlands Conference are just doing this afternoon. Throughout this week, this is what they have actually been doing.
All right, so getting right into the Woodlands Conference report, our first report comes to us all the way from the youths of Livala SDA Church.
Mhm.
So the report from Livala SDA Church is actually twofold,
Yes.
which is very interesting.
Mhm.
So first, they give us an update of what they did last year, where the theme was loving the forgotten. So last year, the youths of Livala SDA Church visited the elderly in their community, the elderly who had not been to church in the longest time. And for me, it is just so refreshing to see how the elderly smile on the pictures, how happy they are, and how they showed appreciation because of that visitation. So this year, the youths of Livala SDA Church are even going a step further in putting love into action. They're going out and reaching out to a community in Chilenje, which is situated right here in Lusaka. They're reaching out to that community and spreading the love of God by sharing with them a few groceries, a few things, and fellowshipping with them. What a wonderful story.
Very much.
Youths of Livala SDA Church, we say kudos to you. We applaud you. You're doing a fantastic job. What other reports do we have from Woodlands?
Reporting right from Chipapa Mission District in Woodlands Conference. We have yet another group of powerful youths in Chipapa Mission District who actually took their time, they put their resources together, they brought their energies together to go down there in Chipapa and build a house for an old man who cannot fend for himself, who cannot walk, his legs actually are down. So they identified the man and they put their resources together. And one interesting thing is that they noticed that his house is actually at risk of falling any time.
Okay.
So they decided to build a house for him where he can now be safe and secure. So the youths of Chipapa Mission District right there in Woodlands Conference are actually building a house for an old man.
Fantastic.
And this afternoon, as we are talking, they are actually handing over that house. They built it, they plastered it, they put the floor, and now they are also going to paint it. So that is what the youths of Chipapa Mission District are just doing.
Fantastic job, youths of Chipapa District. So I think we're just going to go to the short clip that the youths of Chipapa have prepared for us.
Here where we are, this is a house that we are building towards our GYD program that is coming this Sabbath. As it says, love is a verb. Hence, we need to do things that people, when they see, they will be able to show to others that they really need help and they are loved. So as Papa Mission District, we are embarking on this project, trying to build a house for an old man who is not able to build. So love is a verb, hence, as it says, it is a verb, it is a doing word, then we are doing it in order to show the people that we love them.
Here where you have seen, we are constructing a site behind me for one old man who is staying in this other house, as you can see it. So we decided to construct a two-room house for him. You know, love is a verb, but it has to be shown in the action that we are doing right now. So as Chipapa youth, Mission District, we decided to construct a home for our father, so that it will be something that we'll be able to remember for a long time that we have done to him. This project was initiated by the youth of the district, and we are proud to say that we have started this project. As we go on, we know that it will finish, and when it will be completed, we will be able to see the way it will be, and we'll be excited as a district, because it is something that will be remembered and something that will be shown, will be seen by everyone. In short, that will even help us to evangelize to others that have used the district.
Hello. This is Zedi from Magangwe. We're here in Nakashenele. That's the construction of the house. It's a project. So this is how we do our construction.
Crispin, as we can see, love is indeed a verb. And you know what I love about the use of Chipapa?
Tell me.
We can see there are no gender roles there. The ladies are carrying the shovels, they are carrying the wheelbarrows.
Everyone is participating.
Everyone is participating. Fantastic job.
Exactly.
Chipapa youths. Fantastic job. I think one other story that this video has just reminded me of is the story of the sheep and the goat in the Bible.
Yes. The Bible, Matthew 25.
Yeah, exactly. So you see, from that parable, Jesus clearly gives a distinction between the sheep
and the goats.
And one thing that stands out about the sheep is that the sheep were active. They were people who took action.
They took action.
They went out to the needy, they went out to the widows, to the prisoners. And talking about prisoners, we're moving on to our next report, which is from Brentwood Drive SDA Church. So the youths of Brentwood Drive SDA Church went out today to minister to the youths, to the inmates at Kamwala Correctional Center. What is interesting about the report from Brentwood is this: in order for them to raise the money that they used to buy the items that they took to the correctional facility, they actually organized a car wash.
That's wonderful.
Fantastic idea, fantastic concept. So Brentwood, we are saying good job. The Bible itself encourages us to treat prisoners the way that we would want to be treated.
Remember those who are in prisons as though you are in prison with them. That's what the Bible says right there in Hebrews chapter 13.
Exactly. Crispin, what else do we have from the Mighty Woodlands Conference?
From the Mighty Woodlands Conference, we can't just surpass the mighty Charimbana University SDA Church in conjunction with the Charimbana University Public Campus Ministries. They are working together to right there in Chonge District to ensure that they meet the needs of the people right there in Charimbana. So these people, they put their resources together as well.
Okay.
They put their monies together and they say, let's go down there in the village. Let's actually put love into practice. As earlier we said, love which cannot be practiced is not love.
It's not love.
So right there, the youths of Charimbana Mission District, they put their resources together and went down in Kabeleka village and identified a young man by the name of Dixon, who has been lame from his childbirth, and his family has been struggling just to ensure that they keep him in good healthy conditions and for medication and those issues. The family has actually been struggling. So the youths of Charimbana Mission District SDA Church, they went and attended to Brother Dixon. And the youths of Charimbana Mission District, one thing that is interesting is that they are willing to put all their resources together and ensure that Brother Dixon's medical expenses are catered for every Friday when he's going for medication.
Wow, that
they
is
are willing
fantastic.
to cater for that.
That's
so
fantastic.
This is just so wonderful. Indeed, love is a verb. Thank you very much, Chanimbana Mission District, Chanimbana University SDHH, Chanimbana University Public Campus Ministries. God bless you.
God bless you indeed. I think what is fantastic and what stands out from Chalimbana University SDHH is these are students. These are people who do not earn a living per se. They are students and they are willing to put their resources to help somebody in the community. I think this is a challenge to everyone.
It's a challenge.
Let's reach out at whatever capacity that we can. Let us put love into action.
Exactly.
And finally, in our report, we have one all the way from Chainama SDA Church. And the report from Chainama SDA Church is threefold. So the Chainama SDA Church are working on 3 projects. The first being they are helping in the construction of a house. They're like Chipapa, they're helping with the construction of a house for one of the elderly ladies in Kalikiliki compound. So they're helping with the roofing, the floor, and a window. Fantastic things that they're doing out there. Another thing that they're doing is they have actually adopted an elderly lady in Kalikiliki who from time to time have been helping with some groceries.
That's wonderful.
And for GYD this year, they're continuing with that project. They'll be going back, taking her some groceries, going to visit her. And lastly, they will be going to Chainama Mental Hospital tomorrow to do some cleaning around that facility.
Very wonderful.
Chainama SDA Church, the youths, we are saying kudos to you. You are doing a fantastic job. And again, God bless your ministry. Crispin, that is our report. Mighty Woodlands Conference, this is our report.
It's a challenge to us. It's a very big challenge to us. And as I heard the presenters earlier were saying, even at a personal level, we need to practice love.
Exactly.
We need to ensure that we emphasize this theme, love is a verb, into practice as individuals as well. Yes, we've done it as a church, we've done it as districts, but even at a personal level, even after today, the 18th of March, let's go and let's continue. Love is a verb, putting it into practice.
Exactly. No better way to end our report than saying the theme itself. Love is a verb.
Jalula Yesondi agugulumba nyanda bumi bululeme tangu jimbi nchendi Semu moyo najizwe semu moyo.
Welcome back. The name of the game we keep emphasizing is love is a verb, and it's a doing word. And thank you so much to those that have come through on the various social media platforms, and I'm receiving quite some overwhelming comments. Thank you so much. Emily is saying love is indeed a verb. Thank you so much, Emily, for this comment. Monde is also saying to God be the glory, and just picking a few others. Deborah Nalu also is just saying indeed love is a verb. Just to pick a few, and a lot of more comments that are coming through. We keep emphasizing to say wherever you're watching us from, just let us know where you're watching us from and add a comment. We want to hear what you're doing. We want to hear what is happening in the Western Province, my favorite province in Zambia. We want to hear. So just come through and tell us what you're doing as youths. I'm still joined by Isaac in studio, and we just want to have a quick, interaction here, Isaac. I want to understand. So we just received a report from the mighty Woodlands Conference, and thank you so much to Woodlands Conference and the wonderful report they've brought us. So just try maybe picking it from there. We find quite a number of activities that Woodlands Conference has done. We have Chipapa building a house. I think that's not a lean achievement. That's a major achievement to an extent of where youths come together, come up with a brilliant idea to build a house. Isaac, your comments, a whole house.
Yeah. So, Trevor, if you look back at, like I said, we began this Global Youth Day in 2013. And just to get the correct dates, it's supposed to be the first one was commemorated on 13th of March 2013. Oh. Now, if you look at the mission and the vision of the Global Youth Day, it's actually what the youths of Woodlands Conference just did. We understand that the youth, there are a lot of things that they can do to actually contribute to the proclamation of the message of Christ and the message of love of God. If we go to the story of Luke chapter 10, verse 25 and 37, we find the parable of a good Samaritan. Yes. And it is from there where we pick the message and the mission of a Global Youth Day, where we say, go and do the same thing like what the good Samaritan did. He finds something that he finds someone at the point of death, someone that he doesn't even know, and he just says, okay, what am I going to do? Let me help this person, and then let me take care of this person. And in fact, the way the Bible puts it is that that man, the Good Samaritan, was actually going on a business trip.
Yes.
And then when he takes this patient to where to the guest house and says, take care of this man.
It's inconveniencing him actually.
I'll come back again and also pay. So for the meantime, you can pay. Meaning, it takes off his busy schedule.
Yes.
I'm looking at someone who is actually at an appointment and is going somewhere, and then is supposed to get to that place at a certain or at an appointed time. But he says, in as much as I'm busy, I can still do something to help a brother. I can still do something to show love to a brother. And this is exactly what we've seen in the report that Woodlands Conference that gave us. So we're saying, we as youths, there are a lot of things that we can do. Not just us going to church every Sabbath, listening to sermons. Yes, we're not saying listening to sermons is bad.
Yes.
But it's high time that we actually preach the sermon without even reading the Bible. And how do we do that? By just the things that we're going to do the community. Imagine what impact it's going to have in the life of that man who they've helped to build a house. They're saying he's an old man and is unable to work.
Yes.
I'm sure he didn't even have end plans of building another house. If that house that he was staying in wasn't even conducive for him, I'm sure he was just waiting for a miracle to happen. And thank God that there was a miracle that came his way. And these are the things that we're supposed to be doing as youths every year. Not just stopping here. Let's also do other things similar to what the people from Chipapa have actually done.
Yeah, we have Chalimbana University also coming with quite an exciting one, and they're also doing it in their own way, trying to show love in their own way. Chipapa comes through, we have Chalimbana also coming through, and Chainama. I think Chainama's story also was very touching, personally coming through to me. And these are youths that are relentless. They are not stopping on only adopting these people that they've adopted to see how best they can help them. They're going a step further, and tomorrow they're cleaning.
Yeah.
They're not stopping on global youth. I think for me, this is so fulfilling because it's not supposed to be a one-day thing. We do it today and then it ends there. Then watch tomorrow. So I think the youths from Chainama are going a step further and just trying to do that. It's like a step further. Global youth, yes, but then after that, what?
Trevor, in as much as we have Global Youth Day coming every second week of March, we need to understand that it's not supposed to be a one-day event. It's supposed to be a lifestyle. So when we have a theme, it's a yearly theme supposed to run from that day. So this theme is supposed to run from now on, going up to the next theme that we're going to be given. And we're supposed to be doing works of kindness that are going to show that love is a verb. I was just trying to check if General Conference has posted the theme for 2024. I'm sure before the end of this year they are going to post. And we need to start working on that theme. So we're not supposed just to do works of kindness on that particular day, on that Sabbath that is said to be the Global Youth Day. But we need to do things that are talking about that theme that we're commemorating going on forward, because we are not supposed to proclaim we're not supposed to stop to proclaim the last gospel, to show people what God has done for them and what God has done for us. So we need to continue doing these acts of kindness. I've also liked what Brentwood Drive did.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So what we're told, they went to visit the people that are at the collection facility. Yeah. Trevor, I have a story. I think it was last year. One of my relatives was actually, that's when he was released from one of the correctional facilities that is in Kasama. And I know what things these people that are in those facilities ask for.
Oh, yes.
So when these youths took a step to go and actually mingle with them and do things for them, that is not a small step. It's a step that we need actually to commend, and also other youths that have not done anything this year should actually copy from these people. And I like the idea that instead of them just saying, what are we going to do, instead of just make them coming up with money coming from their pocket, they went a step further to do first a car wash. In as much as that was a fundraising venture, but I still see it as another activity that they did to actually help the community.
Yes.
I have a feeling that the amount they were actually charging for the car wash was not the normal amount that we charge, because it was for the normal car wash. I have a feeling that was also an adventure that they did to show actually what they can do as youths to the community, and people actually brought their cars there. And I have a feeling that they did not just wash the cars, but they also preached to those people that came. And that was a very good idea. And when they raised those money, they didn't want to use it for bundles or anything else, but they took it to the work of the gospel, to go and show love to the people that are in the collection of facility that is Kamwala. That is also a commendable job from youths of Brentwood Drive.
Oh, yes, indeed, it's quite commendable, and we can only emphasize the fact that as youths, the advocacy is not always writing requests to the church to request for money. We want to go a step further as youths. As we are saying, love is a verb. Let's find ways to be innovative, to just go out there and, you know, try and find ways and means to raise money to do these activities that we are doing. I think the youth from Brentwood, we applaud them for the wonderful initiatives that they did during this particular activity. As we dinner down to, you know, go to our next report, comments keep coming in, and it's quite exciting, quite interesting. Let us know where you're watching us from. Give us a text and just tell us where you are, and your comment, send us a photo of what you have done today, being the Global Youth Day, because remember, today we are going out to communities to show love, and you know, it's many colors. The fact that it's a verb, the fact that it's a doing word, you know, it's defined by people differently. So going out there is quite pivotal. Isaac, still looking at what Woodlands has done, quite commendable work, very brilliant and very innovative actually by these particular youths. In a personal capacity, I think this question obviously comes towards the end, but what do you think we can look at next year as youths? Looking at the way Woodlands has done, because I feel like they've covered almost everything. They've covered almost everything.
Done. We say the poor and the less privileged will always be with them. So we can't say that Woodlands Conference has actually finished everything. Yes. Okay. We can also look at other things. Like, by the way, these are not the only activities that Woodlands Conference has done. Oh, yeah. Like my district, as we are talking, at 14 hours they were at Kalingalinga clinic, where they were donating the blankets and the curtains to the facility. Yes. Oh, nice. Yeah, and then they also donating some food items, and then we also have Curfew that was at Curfew Hospital. They're also doing the same thing similar to what Goffew was doing. So those are some of the activities that we can do. Now, we keep on saying the theme for Global Youth Day is being a sermon.
Yes.
So there are other things that we can do as youth as we try to be a sermon. So there are a lot of community services that we can do.
Yes.
Let's talk of Lusaka. I think most places in Lusaka, when it's rain season, especially this period, we have a lot of places that needs to be cleaned. So as youths, we can also do that. We can empower ourselves. We can actually see how we can help. Like we can help in cleaning the communities where we come from. We have a lot of drainages that are blocked, and we had experienced the flooding. Imagine if the youth can just come up with an initiative. Like we had the youths from the former Rusang University youths. The other day they were doing a community service in Kamala South, where we know what happened in Kamala South. That's where we had a lot of floods. And what they were doing is they went there, they gave out chlorine and other sanitizers to just help the people there. Those are some of the things that we can do. We just look at what our community needs. What is it that what is it that is needed in our community? And then we look at that, and then we can help that. And we are going to do another thing that we're going to say, and that people are going to look at and say, this is what the youths actually did. So I can't say we have finished the syllabus. Yeah. We have challenges coming every time. We can talk of the people that have been affected by COVID-19. We can see how we can help them. COVID-19, by the way, is still with us there. Yes. So we can also see how we can help people with that. And then we can also try to see how we can help orphanages. Yeah, we have a lot of orphanages, and people still need our help. We can also, another way, we can also try to do the enrich one. Not just outside the church. We also have people within our church that actually need our help. Like what Lusaka Conference did last year, where they built a house for one of their members. He's a member of the church, but he's less privileged. And what they did was, let's build a house for him. And they did not just build a house where he was going to stay, but they also built some flats where he was going to be put on rent, so that he can continue to support himself and not every time depending on the church. Those are some of the activities that we can do as we try to be a sermon. So as we try to be a sermon, we're saying, let's do things that when the people look at and they ask, who are these? And then someone will say, these are Seventh-day Adventist youths. And someone will try to say, I want to go and worship the God that they worship. And by so doing, we will not even have to go and do crusades and what. But just by our actions, we'll be able to preach and people will be able to follow us. And by so doing, we're going to see that the message of the gospel will be preached to the entire world in no time.
Isaac, really, it is important to minister through our deeds and our actions, and this can be noticed from today's mission story. You know, we have youths from Lusaka Conference that go out and do an act of kindness, and through the act of kindness, you know, they're able to win souls to Jesus. And these are some of the things that we keep promoting and emphasizing to say this is a direction we should take as youths. And I've loved the fact that you've spoken about the issue of reaching in. A few years ago, there was so much talk about reach in, reach out, reach up. I can't remember the exact order, but I remember the reach up was the last. Yes, I can't remember which is which. And this is one thing that as I feel like as youths we have forgotten, because, and I think we are lacking, and we should quickly just add some input to it, because we always reach out, and we are quite good at reaching out. We reach out to communities, people that don't worship with, but then bringing it back home to people that we worship with. Personally, I have a problem. A few pastors in my conference know I don't like being called Brother Trevor. I don't like being called Brother, and it's for simple reasons, because we have these connotations as Adventists where when you say Brother Trevor, it means everything is well, because we just meet at church, and it ends there. But you're forgetting to say I'm a person before I'm that brother. You know, yes, we are brothers, but sometimes just connotate, we just underlining it as brother doesn't actually mean the actual deeds. And maybe going forward, it would be nice to just have more of reaching in programs, going to just a neighbor within church, you know, reaching out to within church before we go full throttle out there. Your view quickly on the reaching out and reaching in before we actually reach out.
Trevor, this year is actually one of the churches in our district tried to do the reaching, and what we did was we had some. It's a new church, it's a new congregation. Initially, it was a company, Lubuto Church, and I was privileged to go and actually cover that story for news. So they were doing a community service just around where the church building is, and then just next to that church building, there's a gentleman who lives alone. He was at some point was in prison, but he was released on a presidential pardon. And he's the only guy that stays there. And he's the oldest son of the lady that sold the plot to the church. So what they decided to do, because this is an Adventist, and because of the thing that he's been doing to the church, they decided to actually, as they were cleaning the church surrounding, they also decided to go and clean the surrounding for this guy. Now, most people don't actually talk to this guy. And even when I was doing an interview with him, he actually said, most people actually feel to come and approach me because of the way I look and because of those especially people that know about my background, that I was once in prison, they feel I'm still a criminal. But I like the way the church is done. And then they don't just end there. You know, there's this issue of in our church, deacons, where they are required to go with jackets in front.
Yes.
Yeah. But you realize that there are some people that do not wear jackets, not because they don't want, but because they can't afford to buy. And what the church did through the armor is that they identified some deacons, the new deacons that were chosen, that they knew that they need to be smartly dressed. And you know what the church did? They went and bought jackets for them. And on the same day when they were doing the community service, and they just told them, get whatever you want, whatever will fit you. So they brought a lot of suits, and they said, pick what will fit you. And then they picked whatever that was going to fit for them. And they didn't actually expect that. And then I tried to talk to the diggers, like, how do you feel? And they were like, this is what we need to do as a church. Before we can actually go out there, let's first start in Judea. Let's start within the gates. Let's see the needs of our people. So even the time that we're going to go out, people will really know that we are doing it not because we want the cameras to capture us, but we are doing it because this is what we do. Let's first start with our brothers. I'm not saying going out to see the needs of our neighbors is not bad, but it's also good to see that even as we're going to help the needs of our neighbors, also see that even our household is also put in order. People are also doing things, they're actually benefiting. So that when we go to the neighbors, they're not going to think it's a trap that we're putting. But they'll say, actually, this is their way of living. Look at how they live. And now they've come to help us. And everyone within the church and also outside the church, they'll be able to glorify God and praise His holy name.
Amen. And that will be quite exciting. Remember, you're watching us live from Hope Channel Zambia here in Lusaka, and we transition. The first report we got was from Woodlands Conference. Very exciting and very edifying from that particular conference. They've done quite well, and we hope to get the same reports from other different conferences. Now we take a short break, and when we are back, we go to Midlands East and get a report from them on what they're doing today or what they have been doing as youths to celebrate or commemorate this year's Global Youth Day under the theme Love is a Verb. So stay tuned as we quickly transition to get a report from Midlands East Zambia Conference.
Before the throne of God above, I have a strong and perfect plea, a great high priest whose name is love, who ever lives and pleads for me. My name is graven on his hands, my name is written on his heart. I know that one in heaven he stands, no tongue can be me thence depart, no tongue can be me thence depart. When Satan tempts me to descend and tells me of the guilt within, upward I look and see him there, who made an
Christ my Savior and my God.
One with himself I cannot die. My soul is purchased by his blood. My life is hid with Christ on high. With Christ my Savior and my God. With Christ my Savior and my God.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for joining us. For those of you that are able to, watch us and view us from wherever you are, we keep mentioning to say, come through and send us those text messages and those comments on our social media platforms, and we should be able to read a few of them. I don't know if our producer can just flash a few, so to quickly just get an insight of what our viewers are saying out there. Kenneth is saying, love is a verb. Thank you so much, Kenneth, for coming through. It's really nice to just hear. Add, and let's hear. Nchimunya Mijelo Marambo is saying, indeed, love is a verb. If you can only see, it can only be seen in our actions. Watching you from Kabana site and service in Lusaka. Thank you so much, Malambo Mijelo Nchimunya. All right, and Nyirenda also is saying, I'm watching you from Choma. When did GYD begin? There's a question, I think we'll bring it to Uncle Isaac when he comes back so that we emphasize on when GYD actually just started. Mumbi is also saying, obviously starting with hearts, yeah, and Mumbi is saying it is a doing word indeed. This is love that we're talking about here. So love is indeed a doing word. I think we'll just end there with those particular messages. We should be able to read a few more comments when we go for a few other commercials. At this point, as I mentioned earlier on, we got a depiction of what Woodlands Conference, the mighty Woodlands Conference, did earlier in the day. Now we switch and go to Midlands East Zambia Conference, situated partially here in Lusaka, so partly here in Lusaka and also part of Kabwe, and just try and pick out what they are doing for us in today's this year's Global Youth Day. Joining me in studio is Nchimunya Kasaro from University Seventh-day Adventist Church. Nchimunya, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, Trevor.
Thank you so much. We want to get an insight of what Midlands East has done as a conference, starting from last year, or maybe what they have done today. What activities were there today? I know I was there, but it would be nice to just get an insight so that our viewers get, to appreciate what Midlands East has done.
Oh, okay. So we're doing it the Jesus way, yeah? So Midlands East has, as you have mentioned, Trevor, it extends to Kabwe. And so the focus now will be on the 5 churches that joined hands to live up to the theme, love is a verb. And so we have a few institutes that we were working with. We had the Blood Bank, we had Creso University, Levi Manawasa University coming to help us check on our health, because I've mentioned that we're doing it the Jesus way.
The Jesus way.
Yes, so Jesus used to heal. And in this, we just thought this theme would work well if we were to work with hospitals that would provide healing. Okay? We've heard of stories of people are dying because blood banks are empty. And so the blood bank was selected amongst the institutions to come and just get blood from us, the youths. And that's what we were doing today. So firstly, we started with the march past from Munali all the way to East Park.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have an understanding that actually this is within your territory as Midlands East. So the stretch was from Munali roundabout to East Park. That's quite some distance there. Didn't we have any youth event today?
No.
Okay.
You know how exciting it gets with the youths. Mm-hmm. And so they were there walking and the brass band was playing. It's exciting. It was very exciting. So then as they are walking, they're busy explaining, or the leaders rather, were explaining how the whole procedure at East Park would be done. Okay, so we had the book, The Final Hope. This is the book, The Final Hope, that we're distributing.
Literature distribution.
Yes, literature distribution. And we've noticed that most of the time, okay, since love is a verb, yeah, we've picked it to say we shouldn't just say, I love you, neighbor. We tried to come up with students, identified a few students. You know how that area around East Park is filled with universities. We've got Levi Mwanawasa University, yes. We've got
Creso University, yes, the University of Zambia.
Yes, those universities. And so we were thinking, because we've heard stories and we've actually seen that people are struggling to have ends meet. And so love is a verb. Living up to that was that we buy them hampers. These hampers had the foods, the little foods that people would use every now and then, you know? And this is what we're doing actually.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. Exciting. I'm actually seeing that we're seeing live, not live scenes, but maybe a repeat scene or scenes of the march past that you had. We're hoping, really, reporting that people didn't faint, and really they hope they didn't faint during this particular march past. All right, so apart from literature distribution, you've talked of food hampers, and you've talked of the students meeting ends meet. The focus with these students, what do you think, maybe not mentioning what really was in the hampers, what was your view as a conference in targeting students, and also maybe what you thought students need? How was it easy or hard for you to find what to put in the hampers?
Because, you know, we are youths, yes? And so these students are our friends.
Yes.
We know, we have interacted with them. We know their struggles. I mentioned that you just don't say, I love your neighbor and whatnot. We interact with them. We discuss what they would need if such a program was to take place. And so a few students would mention, no, I usually struggle with finding money for soap, you know? And so in that same discussions, we just thought as Midlands is, let's just get them this particular item that would help them with the day-to-day living.
Oh yeah, great. Live scenes indeed. Not live scenes. I don't know why I keep saying live scenes, but anyway, that's what you're seeing there is a depiction of what was happening earlier today, where Midlands East was, you know, participating in the Global Youth Day. This year's Global Youth Day, we're saying love is indeed a verb. Now, Nchimunya, as we, you know, keep winding, it's important to understand that. As a conference, you're likely to have some congregations or churches that are going a step further and not only ending on the literature distribution and distribution of food hampers.
Yeah.
Do you have anything we can cite as Midlands to say we have this district doing this after Global Youth Day? Me and Isaac earlier on were talking about going a step further, doing a few other activities. Maybe you have any that you can cite?
Okay, so because we know we are being compassionate here. Love is a verb is not just a one-day thing. University SDA in particular will be taking a step further to visit a few friends that, haven't been to church really. We'll be visiting them to take also the hampers, the food hampers that we did distribute to the students today. We'll extend them this whole week. We'll have a few individuals whom we've identified distributing that. We have also identified the cancer hospital, of which we'll go and show love. There was a suggestion during one of the discussions to say we should actually cut our hair, you know, so you should show love.
So go with broad hair, cancer, to show, okay.
So it's, we are, as University SDA under Midlands East, we will try to live up to that, up to this theme, through the things that I've just mentioned, Trevor.
All right, great. We are doing it the Jesus way, even as we are commemorating this year's Global Youth Day, and we're here in Lusaka, Hope Channel, Zambia, to be precise. We can quickly send you our location if you want to come through so that we have a quick chat. But nevertheless, you are able to comment on the social media platform. Tell us where you're watching us from. Tell us what you're doing as a district. Tell us what love is a verb to you means so that we can quickly read those out and help you publicize what you're doing wherever you are. We're talking to Midlands East Zambia Conference and just trying to get an insight of what they're doing as a conference in this particular Global Youth Day. Chimunya, now we've spoken about what the conference is doing, but since you're here in studio, I would love to get an understanding of, at a personal level, love is a verb to you. what is it? We keep asking this question to everyone that comes on set because it doesn't have to, if it's a verb, it shouldn't be on my neighbor. Okay. It shouldn't be, you know, the other person. If it's a verb, it should be on a personal level. So on a personal level, love is a verb. What is it to you as a person?
Okay, I really love to joke around to say my favorite ex used to tell me to say, more than words is what you need to do to make it real. That's a very powerful statement. Because otherwise, when you have no words, how is somebody going to know to say they love you?
Okay.
Yeah. So love to me is a feeling that pushes you to do something. Okay? When you see, or jokingly, when you see that your girlfriend isn't having like nice hair, you just say, I'm taking you to the salon this weekend. That's an act of love. Yeah? It's not just a couple of I love yous. It's the acts that you do, you know, the hugs that were mentioned earlier on, you know, the acts of service, just help here and there. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Munya. And we are looking at love as a verb. And I'd love to repeat what you said, your favorite. I don't have one, so it's fine. All right, so thank you so much. You're watching us live, Home Channel Zambia, and we'll be reading a few more comments a bit later on, and I'm hoping that you're able to comment and just let us know where you're watching us from as we try and break down the whole concept of love is a verb here in studio. And soon after we finish conversing with Nchimunya, we should take some time. And remember, we have 2 more conferences that we just need to get reports from. This is a report for Midlands, or under Midlands Zambia Conference, Midlands East Zambia Conference, and Northern Zambia Union Conference that we're picking this particular report from. We should be able to get one from Lusaka Conference and also one from Midlands West Zambia Conference coming on. So stay tuned as we keep interacting in studio. I'm still joined by Nchimunya Kasaro as we keep breaking down. Nchimunya, really as we just try to wind down, you've spoken of partners. We are privy to say we had Deck also come along. I think I remember seeing Deck there. What were there? Were they testing people for, you know? So, Trevor, you remember in the Pathfinder law, care for my body?
Care for my body, yes.
Yes. There is no love without care. And so Midlands East just thought DEG would be a very good institution to partner with us, to come and help. So they do sensitization. It's not only testing to say, okay, who's high on drugs, who's high on what. They do sensitize. So the care for my body comes in that DEG is there to educate us the best ways of caring for our bodies. So it's not only to us. Everybody who joined us was now educated to how best they can care for their bodies.
All right. Can you remember any particular smile when you're doing the literature distribution or maybe the giving of the food hampers? You know, there's always that smile. Isaac earlier on was talking of that look on that one particular person. Not everyone, but that one particular person. Can you just remember any smile or maybe any friend that you've made today during this particular program? Just that one smile that just made you feel to say, you know what, I think we have done very well. I think reaching out to this person was a move in the right direction. Can you remember any one person?
I want to say, because we as University SDA, we didn't particularly have people that we selected for the hampers. And so it was just overwhelming for individuals to be called out of the crowd and be given that hamper. How have I been identified as this part of this? And the smiles that come from that is overwhelmingly nice. And that's about love, yeah? When you're giving it and seeing how happy this person that you are giving that love to, it overwhelms you also. It pushes you to do more. Yeah.
Great. As we window down, understanding that love is indeed a verb this year, quickly, Nchimunya, in a few seconds, your favorite, excluding love is a verb, your favorite Global Youth Day theme and maybe the activities that you did that particular year. Can you think of any that you did in any particular year without any particular order, but your favorite, excluding love is a verb?
Okay. My favorite is colors.
Colors. That's reaching out.
Reaching out, yes. Because the t-shirt was amazing.
Okay. The t-shirt was amazing.
Yes, the t-shirt was amazing.
Okay.
Yeah. I have no particular thing that really touched me. But for colors, it was a t-shirt that pulled me. But Adopt was my favorite. Because we got to, during Adopt, we went to an orphanage, okay? So we worshipped with them and came to an understanding of how these guys live. When you are in this different setting, the privileged and whatever situations that we usually go through, you tend to have a blind eye towards these guys. And having to worship with them and interact with them gave me an understanding of why we do Global Youth Day. You know, we're filled with compassion, and yeah, that was really a life-changing thing for me. Yeah, and that's why it's my favorite.
All right, it's good that we added Adopt to it. It was going to be worrying if only Reaching Out was your favorite because of the T-shirt. It would have been quite worrying, but thank you so much for adding Adopt, really, and the emphasis goes out to us as youths out there to say, no matter how nice the T-shirts look, we also need to, you know, do that particular activity. And thank you so much, Nchemunya, for that. We see conferences doing quite a number of activities. Now we, as I mentioned earlier on, Lusaka conference will be coming next, just after this, to just, you know, give an insight of what they have done as a conference in this year's Youth Day. Producer, maybe I can get a few more messages just to get an insight of how our people are feeling out there. I can read quite a few, I think. For those of you that have not commented on our live stream, feel free just to comment. We should be able to read a few texts from you. Paul is saying, I'm watching from Lusaka, Zambia, and happy GYD to my fellow youths around the world. And happy Sabbath. Thank you so much, Paul, for the wonderful comment there. We can pick a few other comments so that we just quickly give an insight of what we are doing today. We have Nora also saying, watching live from Lusaka. Thank you so much, Nora, who is watching from Lusaka. Thank you so much for coming through with that particular comment. Mums, okay, this is an interesting name. He's saying, to love is to sacrifice. Indeed, love is a verb. Watching from Chongwe. Thank you so much. It's good to understand that Chongwe is with us today. I don't know, last time we were arguing to say Chongwe is not in Lusaka. Chongwe is in Lusaka, and the debate goes on and on. Chola is adding and saying, watching from Mansa. Lovely. Hope the weather up there is okay today, Cholwe, from Mansa. We have Derek also. Derek is saying, I'm watching from Mufrila. Thank you so much, Derek, and it's good to hear that the Commonwealth is also joining us today. We have Mosivanda here saying, watching you from Chile. What word is that? Okay, no. That's Jirombo, Central Province. Thank you so much for coming through. It's good that Central Province is also watching this particular program. Remember, this particular program is the very first ever that we're having as youths, just coming together to participate and, you know, stream live on Hope Channel, and also just participate join the rest of the world in commemorating the Global Youth Day and doing a lot of other activities together. We keep getting reports, and we keep dwindling and winding down as we are commemorating this wonderful Sabbath on a wonderful day like this one. Happy Sabbath to everyone that is watching us today, and we want you to comment. We want to hear where you're watching us from and tell us what love is a verb means to you. Nchemunya, as we close this particular session with Midlands East report, maybe any words to youth out there?
Okay, a word to youth out there would be that let's not focus on the t-shirts. Yeah, Global Youth Day is more than just a t-shirt. And so, yeah, be the sermon itself.
Being the sermon itself is what we are picking from this particular report from Midlands East Zambia Conference. We take a short commercial. On the other side, catch me with Isaac as we try and just analyze what Midlands East Conference has done, as we try and transition, waiting for the mighty also Lusaka Conference to just come on board and give us their report in today's Global Youth Day. For now, we take a quick break. Catch us on the flip side.
enyiga yabinga satani wanyema wabuluma uyanda kuti tugapye atubale mangwalo tuyume gupaila tujirwahe kuzunda mubyabi enyiga yabinga satani wanyema wabuluma uyanda kuti tugapye atubale mangwalo tuyume gupaila tujigohe kuzunda mubyabi ndiyagunyamula jingano manendigasige ndiyaguwashabajete abamujala satani nandisunkame bondila paila nigulino ile mandila mupa Jesu ngambo yanyiga yabuyo ndiyagunyamula jingano manendigasige ndiyaguwashabajete abamujala satani nandisunkame bondila paila nigulino ile mandila mupa Jesu ngambo yanyiga yabuyo olulwendo basa talulilwa nyamandwa moza atuyume gupaila mane tugasige kumuzi wajishomyo umwega ngwaga bambatata olulwendo basa talulilwa nyamandwa moza atuyume gupaila mane tugasige kumuzi wajishomyo umwega ngwaga bambatata ndiyagunyamula jingano manendigasige ndiyaguwashabajete abamujala satani nandisunkame bondila paila nigulino ile mandila mupa Jesu ngambo yanyiga yabuyo ndiyagunyamula jingano manendigasige ndiyaguwashabajete abamujala satani nandisunkame bondila paila nigulino ile mandila mupa Jesu ngambo yanyiga yabuyo ngambo yanyiga yabuyo ngambo yanyiga yabuyo.
Twalumba, thank you so much for joining us in studio, and back on set is actually Isaac. And as I mentioned earlier on, there was a question that came. I think we addressed it earlier on. One of our viewers mentioned to say, Isaac, they want to know, Global Earth Day Fest, when was it?
Okay, so I think Trevor had answered that question, but for the sake of the gentleman who asked, I'm sure that should be from, was it Mongu?
Yes, that should be.
Yeah, should be Mongo. So the first Global Youth Day was actually commemorated on the 13th of March 2013. That's when we had the first ever Global Youth Day. And then what happened was, it wasn't so pronounced then. Yeah, it was just a program that was brought, and then, with a few understanding, with only a few people that understood. But now it is more pronounced, especially with the coming of social media and everything, because we can even share the materials everywhere. And this is why we see now it's more pronounced now. But the first one, to answer his question, was in 2013 on the 13th of March. And like I said, every year since then, we've been commemorating this Global Youth Day with different themes. But the main theme has always been be the same one. Even when we commemorated in 2013, we had the theme be the same one. Remember when we went on the break, I was telling you that as far as my memory can remember, love is a verb was brought in at some point.
Okay.
Yeah, but wasn't as more pronounced as this. I should think it's somewhere 2015, 2014, somewhere there. We had a theme, love is a verb. And we actually used it as a theme for Youth Week of Prayer. But again, it has come back, and this time it is actually more pronounced as it than it was in the past. Yeah, so that's when we had the first ever Global Youth Day, 13th March 2013.
Oh yeah. No, great. As we are trying to understand and appreciate the work that Midlands East Zambia Conference has also contributed, seeing that Woodlands came through and now we had Midlands East. Isaac, we had them, they were at East Park, they did some literature distribution, they were with the blood bank, they were with DEC, they distributed food hampers to our friends. Your comment really around that, focusing on students and educators under the sub-theme for this year's Global Youth Day.
Yeah, so like I had said, Trevor, when you asked me, it seemed like Woodlands Conference finished everything. Now you can see that actually they didn't even touch everything. They just touched.
For sure.
Yeah. So what I can say is, I like the initiative that Midlands East took. They looked at the needs of the people within their reach. They looked at where they are and what is the need, what is the greatest need of the people, what are some of the challenges that the people are facing, and that's what they actually went on and acted and met the needs of the people around them. Now, Global Youth is only going to make sense if we understand the needs of the people, of the community around us. We might not say this is the best activity for the Global Youth Day, because we have different challenges in our communities. What might be a challenge in my community might not be the same challenge in your community. For example, some communities, one of the challenges is that they don't have access to clean water. But in some communities, that is not the case, because people can easily walk into a shopping mall and buy clean water and drink. Then in other communities, you find that what is the challenge is people to find food. But that might not be the challenge in some communities. You find that people actually have enough food even to throw. So look at the people around you. What is it that they need? What are their greatest needs? And like we are saying, they use the Jesus method. Trevor, when we got back to the Bible, you find that Jesus made people according to their needs. Let me just try to give some examples. The first miracle recorded at wedding in Cana. The need for the people there was that they needed wine, because they had run out of wine. And when Jesus' mother goes and tells the people that whatever is going to tell you, just do it, Jesus understood that where we are, it's a wedding. People are celebrating. And what has run out is wine. And what did he do? He gives them wine. And actually gives them the best wine. We go back to, we fast forward, we get to Mark, also in Luke. He's preaching. And he has a crowd of more than 5,000 people seated. He realized that I have been talking to these people for quite some time now. And obviously, because I did not give them a break.
Yes.
What does he do? He doesn't tell them that I'm going to pray for you. No. He asked the disciples, do you have food that we gave to these people? And one of the disciples says, even if we're going to use the money for a yearly wage savings, we're not going to find. But he uses a miracle that within the 5 loaves of the 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread, he gives them food, because that is what they needed at that time. We get to another story. That man was a centurion. What he needed was the life to be given back to his child, the daughter. And Jesus does not suggest anything. He gives back life. We also have the blind Bartimaeus. What Bartimaeus needed was sight, and that's what Jesus did. And this is what we've seen youths this year doing. So we need to understand the needs of our community, and so that we can give that. Imagine if I was to go to certain communities and I give diapers. It's not going to make sense.
Yes.
Because people do not even know how to use diapers.
Yes.
Imagine if I was to go to a certain community and I start giving fruits. It's not everyone that needs fruits. Like I go and give fruits to farmers. It will not make sense. Their needs, the thing that they need, and those are the needs that we need to be taken care of even as we celebrate the Global Youth Day. So what Midlands East did, they looked at the needs of the people around them, and that's exactly what they did. And I like that they brought in a lot of activities within a limited time, and that was commendable. Midland says, may God bless you, and may you continue to do more exploits for Jesus.
All right, thank you so much. We keep mentioning that we are live here in Lusaka, Hope Channel, Zambia, and thank you so much to all our viewers that are able to join us. Right now, quickly, we try and go within here, Lusaka, the owners of this particular territory, just to give us a quick report on what they have for us today, what they did today, what they have been doing as a conference, as well commemorating this year's Global Youth Day. So on the flip side, join us as we entertain Lusaka Conference with their report. For now, catch you on the flip side.
Ukutemwa mufichitwa ino FM tusendere nga ba youth ukutemwa mufichitwa so leken turange okutemwa konse ko twala kuri bale abantu akwati tetsi bakwanishe bantu ichitemu iko chirangwa fyonse mufo turechita. Love is a verb.
The 2023 Global Youth Days theme is entitled Love is a Verb. To me as an individual, love is a verb means putting into practice the term that is referred to as love. This time around, we want to see that we as youths actually under the Adventist Youth Department are showing love to our neighbors, are showing love to our community, and indeed are showing love to the church.
Love is a verb. Mwzc Lilato Kikezo. Jesus set an example for us because he spent most of his life helping out.
Love is a verb. Words are just words when they're not followed with action. People need to know love without words. Let's do the action.
Luyando Ndijiti, for me this means showing love to others through our deeds, just like God did, giving us his only son as a way of showing love.
Love is not a thing. It's not something you own, nor is it something you scream. It's not a power of I owe yours. It's something that you show. Love is a verb.
Love is a verb to me is about being a practical Christian. It is about doing to others as I would want them to do unto me. It is about not being a passive person, but going out there and looking for opportunities to spread the love of God. Be part of the movement. Love is a verb. Be an action maker.
Luyando Ndijiti na Luyando
action oriented as we commemorate love is a verb, it's a doing word, it's an action word, and everything else around it. We are in Lusaka Conference now, just to quickly pick a report from them, and I'm obviously excited for obvious reasons. I'm in Lusaka and privileged to be in Lusaka Conference, and joining me on set now is Dale. She has an English name, a lovely name, and Dale, good afternoon to you, and welcome to the afternoon session.
Thank you. Good afternoon to you too, Trevor.
Great. We want to get an insight of what we did as Lusaka Conference today. What was on our menu for today, and what have we been doing, or what we plan to do? So let's start with today first.
All right. So today we have Kabwata Mission District, which had participated in a blood donation alongside Garden House. So they basically saw how much of a shortage that we have around, and they decided to take it upon themselves and donate blood. You know, give out blood to the hospitals out there And that's basically what was on the menu today.
Great. Thank you so much. So we have these two districts. Was it a joint program, or they did it in different places?
It was a joint program.
Okay. Did they have any specific place where they had this particular program, or did they have it at a school ground, or?
This program was actually done at UTH, the University Teaching Hospital.
Okay.
That's where they went. But then away from today's program, we had a program on the 13th of March, on Monday.
Yes.
So on Monday, Lusaka Conference, as a conference, they decided to embark on a cleaning activity where they cleaned parts of the CBD area. Yes, and we saw youths coming out, not just chanting slogans of keep Lusaka clean, but taking it upon themselves to actually keep Lusaka clean. We had over 500 youths taking part from different districts of Lusaka.
Wow.
And it was really an amazing adventure. Yes, it was really good to see the youths actually get into action and not just say, let's keep Lusaka clean, but they were there to actually put it into action, to just show that love and show that cleanness into action.
And it's quite exciting to learn that from an activity that is as simple as cleaning, the youths of Lusaka Conference were able to minister and reach out to lives. I keep referring to today's mission story, where we have this story where Lusaka Conference youths do this particular program of keeping Lusaka clean campaign, and after they clean Lusaka, they minister to people. And after ministering to people, we have people that are, coming through, commenting from as far as Chinsali, saying, I have this way, I want to, you've ministered to me. And we have people that were there in town, and we have a group of youths also doing acts of kindness, finding someone that has just fainted and, taking upon themselves to take the person to the hospital and whatnot. So it's quite exciting for me, getting that story from an activity that is as simple as just cleaning. For you, Dale, and a conference at large, maybe let's start with you. How was the feeling when you were participating under this particular campaign, the Clean Lusaka campaign? How was the feeling, and was it fulfilling to you as a person?
Well, it was in that, we say cleanness is next to godliness. And for me, just basically, going down on ground and, cleaning everything up, for me that was a whole lot. It really meant, you have to put everything that you say into action. It's really unfair how we take certain words for granted, how we just chant certain slogans and yet we fail to put them into action. So I mean, it wasn't just a matter of basically always saying, hey, keep Lusaka clean, keep the CBD area clean. It was a matter of just, going there and just doing it, not caring that there's Lusaka Council afterwards that would, that they get paid and to just do that job. We took it upon ourselves and did it, without even expecting anything in return. It was just a service that was rendered to the community, a community that gives us that, those are areas where we buy our food from, everything, basically all essentials, we just find them in the CBD area. So it was of great importance to ensure that the place where we buy food from, buy clothes, places where we work from actually is, they're clean.
Great. So I'm getting the understanding. We said keep Lusaka clean. We're referring to CBD. Did we clean Kanyama also? Did we clean John Lang also? Did we just focus on the CBD, or how did you do it?
So we only cleaned the CBD. That we have districts, various districts doing their own things. Since you mentioned John Lang, so what John Lang Mission District is doing for Global Youth Day, on the 28th of March, on the 26th, I beg your pardon, on the 26th of March, they'll actually have a community service. They'll clean part of the area that is within John Lang School. And along with that, they'll also have a health expo where they'll have HIV testing, BP, eye care, and all the other, little challenges that people face here and there, but then just feel like, okay, so like for a change, we're bringing all those things, nearer to home. So I think that's among the few things that other districts are doing. We also have estates which will actually be painting Chanyanya Mission Hospital. So now they've taken it upon themselves to clean this health center, this health facility. it accommodates over, you know, 10,000 people. So they've seen that this is the place where we always go to, but then the building isn't up to their standards. So they decided to take it upon themselves to, you know, clean this. They'll be cleaning and painting this health facility.
Yeah, quite edifying and uplifting. I'm hoping to mention. I'm hoping you mention a few more districts, because I feel like Lusaka Conference has gone wide, just like all the other conferences. Just, you know, try and you know, bring the whole concept of love is a verb into play, and they're doing quite a number of activities. You've mentioned Estate, you've mentioned John Leng. You've mentioned a few others. Do you have any that are doing any other programs aside the painting, or any other districts you can think of that are doing any other programs under Lusaka Conference?
Yes, we do. We actually have Makeni Mission District. So Makeni Mission District actually identified 2 widows. There's one widow who has 10 children and another one who has 3 children, but the condition in which her house is, they ain't quite up to standards, they ain't appealing. So what Makeni Mission District will do is they will empower these women with capital to set up any business of their choice, and apart from that, they'll also rehabilitate the house of the woman who has three children. The house of the widow has 3 children. And apart from that, we have Kamwala Mission District, which will be visiting Chainama, and they'll donate blankets and sanitary pads of, you know, over 50 blankets and sanitary pads to Kanyama Hospital. And apart from them, we also have Ridgeway Mission District. And so Ridgeway has taken it upon themselves to actually donate things worth 4,000 to Fountain of Hope Orphanage. It's an orphanage actually located within Kamwala, just very nearby. So they saw that there is need for the people who are there to actually get, you know, what is it, clothes, shoes. So whatsoever they will donate, they will amount it to a sum of 4,000. Yes.
All right. I know Dell has got quite a number of districts, knowing that Lusaka Conference itself is a huge conference and a mother of quite a number of conferences. It's quite, you know, really edifying to just, you know, get the feel of a number of activities that they're doing as a conference. Thank you so much, Dell, for joining me on set. And we take a very brief commercial as we come towards the close of today's program. We know you're a bit tired here and there, but stay tuned as we draw to a conclusion. And thank you so much to everyone that has come through to watch this particular program. Remember, before we close, we should be able to read more messages, more comments on our social media platform. So feel free just to comment on that particular platform. So for now, we take a quick commercial as we entertain the next guest. Many thanks to you, our dear viewers that are watching us from different parts of the country, from different parts of the world, for keeping, staying tuned to this particular broadcast that is brought to you live here in the capital city, Lusaka, Zambia, by youths from both Southern Zambia Union Conference and Northern Zambia Union Conference. Isaac is back on set with me, and we just want to have a quick highlight. Isaac, we have Mwzc Conference having a packed program, and they have quite a number of things that are doing as a particular conference. We hear of people going to paint hospitals. We are hearing of people going to do hospital visitations. We have people that are doing quite a lot of things. A quick comment on that one as we prepare to just go to Midlands West.
Okay. One thing that I noticed about Lusaka Conference, Trevor, is that in all these activities, their leader is there. The youth director. Oh yeah. Like all the videos that we saw when they were in the CBD, when they were cleaning, it was actually there with them. When we were talking about blood donation, it was actually the first one to be there. If you saw the video, it was actually the one that was lying on the bed and donating blood. And this is commendable. I wish that even the youth directors from these other conferences, they can also emulate what their friends are doing. It's so encouraging that you see a leader leaving out the suits, leaving out all the office works, and just goes to actually mingle with the youth as they show love to the world, and also coming to the activities that the Lusaka Conference is doing. I like it. They have shown the impact because they are based, their conference is based here in the CBD of Lusaka. And like I said, identify the challenges within your locality and see what you can do for the community. This takes me back to one of the videos that the vice president for SID was actually asking. He was asking a question: if your church was to be closed today, will the community mourn the close of your church, or they will celebrate that they're not going to be getting the noise? And looking at what we have done, what the youths have done, I have a feeling that if anything was to happen to any of the youths, actually the CBD, the people within the locality, to actually say, oh, what a bad thing that has happened. And this is what we're supposed to be doing as youths. We need to take it upon ourselves that we do things that the community will feel the impact of our existence.
Great, thank you so much. And quickly, we just transition and look at the report coming all the way from Midlands West Zambia Conference, one of the conferences that are actually bordering here in Lusaka. Isaac, what does Midlands West have for us today? What have they been doing? What have they been up to?
Okay, so Midlands West, just like any other conferences, they've had quite a number of activities that they've been doing. Like one of the activities that they've done, I'm going to just sample out some districts. So we have Mwembeshi district, which purchased 2 wheelchairs to the individuals that they had identified in their community who are actually at challenges of mobility, and these wheelchairs were given to these 2 youths today on Sabbath. That this was actually happening in the afternoon as we were here discussing. For them, they were actually giving out these wheelchairs. And then we have Matero, one of the big districts in Midlands West. Now, what Matero has done is very commendable. So for them, what they've done is they formed a committee. Now, this committee is going to identify some youths within the confines of Matero Mission District, and then these youths that are going to be identified, they are going to be asked what small businesses they can start. Now, these small businesses that are going to start, the church is going to fund them. So the church is going to give capital to these youths so that they can have something where they can start from. And then the church is going to be monitoring and see that these youths, they contribute to the development of their community and to the development of the church. And then we also have Chiwombo Mission District. So Chiwombo Mission District also have built a house for one of, they've started, they have actually finished the project that they started last year. So they built a house for one of the less privileged, and this house was actually handed over today to this person that they identified. And then we also have Emmanuel Adventist School. This is campus ministry. So for them, they have also identified a person. One person was in need just around that area where Emmanuel Adventist School is, and then they're going to build a house for this person so that they can actually help them with some of these things that accommodation is actually something that it's a basic need. And a lot of people do not have accommodation, and this is what we have seen most of the youths have done. So we can say, just like other conferences have done, Midlands West is also doing a commendable job. I have a feeling, actually I have a view that there are other things that we've not just had an opportunity to be previewed to that Midlands West has done. But so far so good, they've done a lot of commendable projects that even other conferences, we want to see them doing this. Please, pass through those. You can share with us things that you've done so that we can also report on the activities that we've done. But so far so good, Trevor, I can say that the conferences that are within Lusaka, they've actually done a commendable job to show that love is indeed a verb. To show that love does not only talk about just showing love, but it needs us to actually do some works of kindness so that people will really understand who we are.
All right, thank you so much. Remember, you're joining us live for this broadcast. We're here in Lusaka, and thank you so much for joining us. And we're quite excited to have you with us. We'll obviously take a quick commercial. We'll be taking a quick commercial very soon. This will be probably our last commercial as we transition into the closing down of this particular program. For those of you that have been with us from the time we started, thank you so much. As we are saying, kudos to the conferences that have participated actively in this particular Global Youth Day. So we take a very brief and quick commercial and catch us on the flip side. Love is a verb. Love is a verb. We're doing it the Jesus way this year, and we keep emphasizing. For those of you that have been with us from the time we started, thank you so much. And as we're dwindling down, we're quite excited. Now, you remember our Woodlands Conference gave us a report on what activities they have been doing. We are privileged. Isaac, we're privileged in studio on set. We're joined with Obai, Pastor Mwzc Simujira, pronunciations of that particular name. It's a wonderful name. Who is Woodlands Conference Youth Director. Pastor, good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Good afternoon, thank you.
Great. So, Pastor, we understand that you've come all the way from Chipapa. What activity was there? We heard the report earlier, but it would be nice to hear it from you. What activity was there, and how was it? How have you left the people of Chipapa?
Thank you so much. We began by having worship together with the district. It was nice. We had a good time. In the afternoon, we were joined by our union president and our union president, Dr. Vani Munyumbwe, who came with his dear wife. We were also joined by our executive secretary for Woodlands Conference, Pastor Johnny Namwako. It was a very good afternoon where our president addressed us, and from there we went to unveil a home for a man who has been living in a house that was almost falling. So we are so grateful to our youths in Chipapa Mission District who were able to build a two-roomed house, a very big mansion compared to where he was living all along. So we handed over the house. Our union president was in charge of everything. We gave Mr. Julius a home. He's quite old, he's quite aged. So we are so grateful to the district of Chipapa for actualizing love is a verb. Yes. We really are grateful, and we hope in future we can continue such line of thought where we change this behavior of just posing in t-shirts and taking selfies, taking photos, posting everywhere. We want something that we can show that our people are really getting something from our services. We need to be able to have a lasting impact on our society. That's why we are actually alive, to be of service to mankind. So we are grateful to our district through the leadership of Pastor Daniel Cheka and the leadership of our youths there. We continue to say, may the Lord continue to bless them. Yeah. That was a very good gesture to the old man.
All right. No, thank you so much, Pastor. And really, just to mention, we keep getting reports. So as Woodlands Conference, they've done quite a number of activities. Not only our wonderful people in Chipapa, but we have people that were visiting the hospitals and doing quite a number of activities, which is very commendable from your conference. Maybe your comment to us as youths, you mentioned an issue of us not just posing in t-shirts and whatnot. Maybe a comment to us as youths on what our direction should be going forward and how best we can go with the themes that come each and every year. This year we're doing love is a verb, but maybe going forward on how much we should emphasize on not the t-shirts. Any words for us as youths?
Thank you so much. If you remember last year we had a different theme altogether, loving the forgotten.
Yes.
That was also something that was so nice, because in our community we have people who are not taken care of. It's almost in the same line with this year, where we are actualizing the love as a verb. Now, going forward, we wish to see Woodlands Conference continue in the same line. It's not just a one-day thing that we should do and forget about. Love is a verb, is a lifestyle. We expect that throughout the year we continue actualizing this love, we continue doing what is expected of us. It would be very good of us if we continue in the same line of rendering a service to humanity. You see, the youth ministries is a very special department, very unique, very different to other departments. Why do I say so? Our department is a department made up of young people who have so much energy, but they don't have much of where they can spend that energy. So we need that energy directed in a certain angle so that we continue to render a service to humanity. So throughout the year, we will continue to be of service. We'll continue to identify areas where we will continue to be able to help others who need that help. So we look forward to the rest of the year.
All right, thank you so much. That was Pastor Shimujira Mainza, all the way from Woodlands Conference. And thank you so much, Pastor, for the wonderful work you're doing with the wonderful people of the mighty Woodlands Conference. Actually, wonderful conference there. So we keep moving, and we take our last set of commissions, our last break, as we close this particular session of the very first ever broadcast for the Global Youth Day here in Lusaka, Zambia, on Hope Channel Zambia. So we take a break and catch us on the flip side. All right, and we are back as we dwindle down to the close of our program today. Understanding the Global Youth Day, love is a verb. I'm joined by some two wonderful gentlemen in studio, and we just want to get a glimpse of the Global Youth Day theme, love is a verb, from different simple perspectives. And now I'm joined by Jordan and Imate. Jordan, a wonderful brother of mine, and also Uncle Imate, who is the communications chairperson for Woodlands Conference. And obviously, these are the people that went as far as Chipapa to actualize the whole concept of the house that has been built by this particular conference. Gentlemen, welcome. And quickly, let me start with Jordan. Jordan, your personal understanding of what Global Youth Day is. Love is a verb.
Thank you so much, Trevor. Love is a verb, as it has been stretched out and aired out by many people. For me, love is a verb is a big deal for us, whereas, as it has been said, it's an action word, and a lot of things is involved in it. For example, I can give this basic example in the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4 to verse 8. It has the basic examples of love, what love can do. Love is long-suffering. Love does not envy all those angles. So for us as individuals, we're encouraged to put ourselves in the shoes. Like if the word love is put there, what if you can put your name Trevor? Trevor, does Trevor suffer? All those things. So it's a huge thing and a huge impact to us as individuals to say, since love is indeed a verb, you should put ourselves to the forefront of it so it can help others and it can help us as a whole. Yeah, basically that's what I can say.
All right, thank you so much, Jordan. Angoy Mate, Mwzc Chipapa, you went as far as Chipapa, and you're just coming back. We have youths do a very wonderful activity there, and I'm aware that Global Youth Day is usually aligned to the communications department and in those particular happenings. From a communications chairperson point of view, Chipapa youths, let's start from there.
Yeah, as you may be aware, Chipapa is one of the districts under Woodlands Conference, built up or composed of selfless young people that, for lack of a better term, in the rural side of the conference. And so when they undertake activities such as the noble one of building a house, we had literally the entire union focused on them. As communication, it presented before us a unique opportunity whereby we had to narrow down our cameras and adjust the lens so we could project what Global Youth Day is all about, riding on the project that the Chipapa youth decided to undertake, that of even constructing a house.
All right. So you went there today and quickly came back. I don't think I've been to Chipapa before, but I think it's a bit of some distance, considering the fact that we're saying it's the rural part of the conference. What was the feeling on the ground there? How are the youths feeling about the work they have done? Obviously, it's commendable work, but how is the feeling with the youth on the ground?
It was overwhelming. It was overwhelming in that they had recognition of their noble act. I must mention that the union president, together with the conference executive secretary, were on the ground to witness this noble act, and so the youths were overwhelmed and overjoyed, such that the virtuous acts attracted the church leadership.
Your outfit says it all, Chipapa. Today was Chipapa. Thank you so much. Jordan, maybe in simple conclusion, on your personal level, what's your appeal to us as youths, the direction we're taking now, saying love is a verb, as we go towards the end of the year, as we move from now, your personal opinion on how we as youths should commemorate love is a verb?
Well, what I think to say is that as we try by all means to emphasize what love is, and that's as our theme is saying love is a verb, we shouldn't forget what we're doing today, because it's like we were earlier saying in the program today, it should be a personal thing. Yes. First things first, that's what you should remember. As we're trying by all means to put it across all angles to say love is a verb, as youths, as an individual, myself per se, as Jordan, I should be able to note the fact that I shouldn't just pretend to say love is a verb, I should put it into action. All right? We should be able to note to say that if we just say love is a verb today, tomorrow we forget. It shouldn't be like that. It should cut across all angles, all races, and everyone should be aware to it, be it from the youngest to the oldest. We should all be aware and should all know to the fact that as we come together to achieve the common goal of developing our communities and our societies through achieving the great noble cause of being Christ's disciples, we should all know the aspect of achieving the great love we should have for one another and be in that area of life. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me in studio as we are deducing Understanding Love is a Verb theme. Thank you so much, Brother Imate, and also Jordan, also for joining me in studio. For now, a quick commercial as we close on the flip side. Thank you so much for you have been with us for the whole day today with Hope Channel, your channel of choice, and we appreciate you for your viewership. And obviously we have a few comments that are coming from the social media platforms. I would love just to read a few of those just before we close. Producer, if you can quickly just give me a few so that we quickly get interacting and just see how our friends are doing out there. We have Press saying, watching from Western Province. This is Western Peace, or Western Province, Mongo. Love is a verb indeed. Thank you so much, so much. We have Felix also saying, love is a verb, a doing word, an action word. Yeah, thank you so much, Felix, for the wonderful comment. And also, we have
Magaba Cartridge.
Oh, that's Magaba, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's watching from 14 miles. Thank you so much for telling us where you're watching us from. As we get a few more, you can, Isaac, I think you can help me with a few.
That's
of these messages.
Miamba saying, watching from Pemba, Southern Province, Southern Power, the Grand Mark Conference.
Great.
Then we have Chris Odens Jobe saying, happy Sabbath family, love is a verb. Okay, let's see if we can have a few more coming. We have Effie saying, watching from Lusaka. Okay, thank you, Effie, for that message. Then we have Maggie Chainda saying, indeed, love is a verb, watching from Livingston. Thank you.
Livingston is here.
Yes, Livingston is represented as well. Let's see if we can see some few more. We have Alfia Katebe saying, happy GYD to all youth. Good program indeed, and continue loving until Jesus comes. Watching from Santia, Luapula Province, blessings. Thank you very much from Luapula Conference.
All the way.
Then we have Cynthia saying, love is a doing word. Let's see if we can have some few more. We have Edward saying, Munyumbwe is following. Good to know that Munyumbwe is also watching. Munyumbwe in Southern Province. Then we have Charity saying Charity is following from Isoka. Wow, Isoka district, all the way from Chinga Province. That's good to know that you've been watching. Then we have Needy Brega saying love is a verb indeed. Okay. Then let's see. Do we have some more? Okay, let's see if we can have some few more. Okay, we have Chris saying happy Sabbath family, love is a verb. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Those were the few messages that we received from people that have been with us from morning when we began this show up to this time.
Oh yeah, thank you so much, Isaac, and thank you so much to our viewers for being with us for the whole day, and we appreciate your viewership here at Hope Channel Zambia. Isaac, we're coming to close of our program today, and we're so happy for our viewers. We're so happy for the presentations, the conferences that were able to come through and give reports, and also thankful to the youths around Zambia for the great work they're doing, around the world for the great work that they're doing. As we close, Isaac, any final remarks as we dwindle down?
Okay, so Trevor, one of the things that we are actually emphasizing in the youth ministries is a total youth involvement. As you may know, the church is talking about total member involvement, but we have narrowed down to the youth ministries who are saying all the youth beginning from the local churches up to the general conference, they need to be involved in these works that the youths are doing, and we are calling upon all the youths to be involved in the works of youth ministries, so that we can take the Advent message rather to all the world. And then the other thing, Trevor, that is of interest is that tomorrow we begin a compassionate week of prayer.
Yes.
That is the youth week of prayer, and we're inviting all the parents just like they are supported us in the past. We want them to also support us even this year and join us as we are going to be having every evening that we're going to be meeting in our local congregation, so that we can have this revival week of prayer. So we have a lot of programs lined up, and just in the evenings, just later during in the evenings, we're going to have the general conference launching the theme for next year's GYD. They could have launched now. I was trying to check, but nothing has been posted. But I know by the close of today, before midnight, we are going to have the theme for next year, so that we can start preparing, so that even those conferences that have not been able to send through their reports, they can actually show us what they have been doing and what they're going to do. Otherwise, for me, to the viewers, is God bless you, and thank you for joining us from the morning that we started. Remember, this was the first program. Even next year, we'll be coming and to give you the similar program. Thank you very much, and God bless you, and God bless you all.
All right, thank you so much, Isaac. And as we go towards the close, as Isaac has mentioned, this was the first ever broadcast. And we are saying, Jatagamana, Jagayosha. Thank you so much to everyone that has been with us from morning, this afternoon, and every participant, those people that were commenting. Thank you so much for letting us know where you were watching us from today. We keep on acting and doing the Jesus way, doing it the Jesus way. The love is a verb theme this year. May God bless you all. Remember, I have been Trevor Mudenda Habugali, your host for this afternoon's presentation. Thank you so much for joining, and God bless you. And for now, we say bye-bye, and keep watching Hope Channel.
Shangana mulanjelela mulambakana lututwetata wera pulamu mushifukatirwa shimwelenganya shimwitwa pakakala chitwe mambo shichaibumba umwile nkuni na meishi
akarungaraniwe samfyamanyikaniwe katerebe niwe chitwe mambo niwe, shimukokota sono niwe, shimwili niwe, kalenga wa miulu, mulenga wa chao, shicha ibumba katibebe, niwe tuleita, ilange tata, tumunaba kuyobe, abo abakushenteka, omubelele chilolo, abo abamitendeka yawe.
Shibene fue yawe, oh, vichiko kucheno yawe, shibene fue yawe, oh, amen, 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 amen.